All right. We are live. What's up, everybody? What is going on? Someone in the chat said, Blackie late like expected. I should shadow on me for that, but it's true because I am late like expected. Tears and Pistols, thank you so much for the 25. Appreciate that. He says, showing love. I hope you have a great stream. Thank you so much, man. I hope you have a great night. What is up? What's up? I'm back. Myron and I are back. He's live right now. He's reacting to the whole PBD scandal situation. I'm not too privy to it, so I'm not sure what it's actually regarding, but it seems like PBD is in a lot of trouble. I don't really know what the deal is there, but we're back. We had the trip in LA and it was successful. It was smooth top to bottom. It was really good. I got to meet Sean from Uncensored America. Shout out to him. And I gotta say, a lot of you guys watch the debates with Myron and everything like that, and you know he's on these college campuses, and so first thing I'll start with is it's very stressful. Let me change this light right here because this is not supposed to be blue. This is supposed to be orange. All right, perfect. And where was I? Yeah, and so, you know, we had our trip. It was really good. Smooth flight, but unfortunately for Myron, his plane had an emergency landing because of some sort of medical situation. So that was really unfortunate for him. He ended up making it to LA within hours of the event. I think that he got to LA around 10 a.m. on the day of the debate, and the debate or the conversations that he was going to be having with these students and the whole tabling event was starting at 12. So he got there within only a couple hours, and he hadn't slept in the previous 48 hours, like 24 hours. So he was super tired, but UCLA was really fun. I met a lot of you guys there, so that was really nice. I got to meet Thodic. I got to meet everybody else. I can't remember everybody's name, but a lot of you guys. Safe. Shout out to all you guys. It was really, really cool meeting a lot of the fans of the show. And you got to realize, like, this is still new for me. So to meet people that, like, watch me is still weird in a good way. And what do I mean by that? People will say, hey, are you Ryad? And I'm like, yeah, I am Ryad. But, like, what? Like, you recognize me? It was crazy. And people were asking me to take pictures of them or pictures with them. Rather, I was signing hats. I'm like, what is happening? I was signing books. I was like, why do you want my signature? I'm a nobody, you know? And I'm not even trying to do like this humble brag. Like, it really did feel weird, you know? You guys got to realize I've never gotten that kind of attention before. So I spent as much time as I could with every single person that wanted to talk to me. It was really good meeting all of you guys. Had a lot of fun. The debates went really well. Tons and tons of fun. And it was a pretty good turnout. Remember, it's the end of the year. And so a lot of students have already finished finals. It's final season. I think that the last day of school is this week on like Tuesday or Wednesday. One of the campus police officers was telling me they have this like underwear run. All the students run in underwear, and that signifies like the very end of the school year. Don't ask me, okay? That's a weird tradition, but shout out to UCLA. It was a lot of fun. Good turnout again for the end of the year. A lot of students take their finals online. So they just leave campus. They're not going to stay on campus for like the last 5, 6 days, 8 days when no one's even on campus. And we still had a pretty good turnout. So it was a large crowd. And at one point, the crowd got so large that I was starting to get a little bit nervous. And so I started to walk around. And, you know, obviously LAPD had choppers in the air. They had drones in the air. Who would have ever thought, right? And that's the world that we live in, unfortunately. Political violence has become so apparent. It's become so abundant, and I don't like to say that, but I say that flinchingly. It's true. It's become abundant, and unfortunately, it typically comes from the left, and we know where my brother stands in all of his political views. And yeah, he's abrasive, but generally, he's considered far right, whatever, and so people like that are under immense danger when they're speaking in public, and we all know of the tragedy that happened back in September with Charlie Kirk, and so obviously, LAPD was all over it. They've got a huge police squad. UCLA campus police was there as well. And then there was a security detail that was with my brother. I think Uncensored America had that all set up. So really, really good security apparatus at the scene. It was great. I felt a lot more comfortable. However, you never know if somebody's going to try and hop the barricade. It was double barricaded and there were security guards surrounding my brother. But, you know, of course, I can't help it. That's my blood, right? Like my brother is me in a way. Like if something were to happen to him, it feels like it's happening to me. So I'd be lying if I'm saying I wasn't stressed, okay? I'd be lying if I said, oh, I was chilling, I was having a good time. It was even hard for me to focus on what was going on in the debate, what was being spoken about, because the entire time I was just watching people. And I'm on that. I'm really like I'm a security ass nigga. I was, excuse my French, I went up to one of the security guards and I'm like, excuse me, sir, who's that on that second floor right there in that building right there to the left? Somebody's got their window open and they're looking weird. He said, oh, that's one of our guys. And I'm like, okay. Clock that shit, you know? So I'm looking at rooftops and shit. It's like sad that I have to even go that far in terms of my concern for his security, but that's the world we live in. But no. I did nothing. Like I did nothing. I'm just being tongue in cheek. The police and the security detail did great. So shout out to them. God bless all those guys. And even like, I'm sure a lot of those guys don't even agree with my brother's views on many things, but they have a job to do. And so they did that job. And I can't say anything except I really appreciated it. So it was a lot of fun. Good time. I met Brett. Shout out to Brett, my brother's editor. He helps him behind the scenes with a lot of stuff. So I got to meet him. It was a lot of fun. And, you know, I spent about 2 nights in LA. I got there early, obviously. My brother got there super late, so he was cooked. But I got there early. And I get to the airport. Hang on. My brother just texted me. Okay. So we'll jump on with him in a moment. I get to the airport, right? And we'll start the stream on a little bit of a more lighthearted note, because obviously I've been gone for like 4 or 5 days, and so I apologize, but it was hard getting back to speed with the jet lag and everything like that. And I got back to the United States, well, I got back to Connecticut, and I was pretty tired, and I had a family event yesterday, so I just really didn't go live. But also the news has just not been bussin'. There hasn't been many developments in regards to the situation in Iran. There have been some, and so we'll cover those. And Israel is expanding its project of annexation of southern Lebanon, and Lebanon as a whole probably at this point, because they're now going as far as south of Beirut. That's what Ben Gvir is saying. So we'll react to all that. And obviously the Beaufort Castle is now under Israeli siege, the first time since 2000 when the IDF had pulled out of Lebanon. And so that's a symbolic moment as well. We'll get to that. But yeah, I get to LA. I'm all over the place. I get to LA and, you know, I land, I come out of the airport. And so I'm thinking this entire time, I'll just Uber to the hotel. Who cares? Whatever. Bro, I don't know what it was. I just got the impulsive urge to just get a rental car. Never rented a car in my life. I'm only 24. I get into the shuttle outside of the airport. I asked the shuttle driver, I'm like, this first person I'm talking to in California, I'm like, yo, I need a rental car. Is this taking us to the rental place? He said, yeah, this is taking us to the rental place. We'll be there in about, I swore he sounded like he was a radio talk show host. We'll be there in about 12 stops. So about 20 minutes, son. So I sat down. I went to Enterprise. I went to Alamo, I think the company is. No cars. All right, bro. Like, biggest airport in the world. Niggas got no cars. You niggas suck. I went to Hertz. They gave me a Mazda rental. Shout out to them. And I was driving around LA. It's my first time in Los Angeles. I really like it. I really loved it. And I know a lot of people don't like LA. I don't know. People get caught up in the trivial shit. Like, who cares about, the people of the city actually do have a large portion in how that city is and how fun it is. But I get it. People in LA can be assholes, whatever. But LA in and of itself is beautiful. I drove through Hollywood Hills. I drove around Hollywood itself. I drove around downtown LA. Where else was I? Beverly Hills. So I saw a lot. Santa Monica, which is where we were staying because that's right next to UCLA. And it was gorgeous. It was really, really nice. Santa Monica is also really nice. So you West Coast niggas, you guys got it good. Good for you guys. It's definitely not nearly as nice here in Connecticut, obviously. That goes without saying. So I really enjoyed it. Even for the 2 nights, I tried to maximize all the fun that I was having. And I spent a whole night without Myron. Pause. He got there the next day. So I was just driving around alone. But you got to get a rental car. You go explore a new city. Forget the Ubering shit, man. Just rent a car. You have so much more freedom. I did pay a pretty penny because I had to pay the underage fee. I go up to the nigga at the desk. I'm like, hey, do you guys got any cars left? I know everybody else is sold out. He's like, yeah, actually, we got a Mazda. We got like 2 cars left. I'm like, perfect. He's like, yeah, just let me see your ID and everything. He tallies everything out. He gives me the total. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's reasonable. Then he takes one more look at my ID as he's putting my information in. And he goes, oh, you're 24? I'm like, yeah, I'm 24. And I knew about the underage thing, but like I try to play it off like it wasn't a big deal. I'm like, yeah, I'm 24. He's like, oh, man, it's going to be a lot more money. And I don't even want to say the price. It wasn't that much, but, yo, it racked up the bill so much more than it ever had to be. Like, so stupid. I'm a smart 24-year-old. I'm mature. I don't need to pay the fee, okay? And that's what I wanted to tell him, but it's fine. So I got the car. We explored. And honestly, me getting the car was clutch because I gave my brother and his crew so much more freedom. You know, I was able to pick them up from the airport, bring them to the hotel really quick. We got settled. Then we went straight to the debate. At least it's me driving, you know. I'm playing good music. You can tell me what you want the temperature to be like. I'm with the AC. So I was the Uber driver. And we drove to dinner. We kicked it with some of the OSS guys. Shout out to all of you. It was great meeting you. So successful trip. Really good. Smooth flight. Rough landing in JFK, though. Shout out to the pilot, but I thought I was dead, nigga. You know when the plane is like swiveling as it's landing? Never experienced that before. Turbulent, rough landing. And you know, everybody, you know the landing is tough, or when the pilot is approaching for landing, he's descending, everybody starts looking at the flight attendant because the turbulence was like really bad. And it was a clear day. I think it was windy. And I'm not afraid of flying. I don't fly a lot though. So like I wasn't messing with that, you know. I played it cool. I was watching a movie. I was acting like no one was, but I was like, all right, I really hope this plane makes it on the ground. It was a rough landing, you know. I looked over to my right. I saw a mom. She was nervous looking at the flight attendant. Flight attendant has to play it cool, like, you know. But they're used to that. So obviously, totally not in danger whatsoever. Normal landing, but it was turbulent. Anyways, I'm getting caught up on the senseless stuff. But yeah, it's really good to be back. I apologize for the absence, but that won't happen again for a good while. I'm not traveling anytime soon, I don't think. And even if I do, I only travel for like 2 or 3 days at a time for things like this involved with my brother. So not to worry. We'll stay on top of the content from here on out. And moving forward, we will be on top of the news as much as we possibly can. Obviously, I return to work tomorrow. Yay. But you can expect me to be live on those normal days throughout the week, like either Thursday or Wednesday, depending on what happens going into the weekend and everything like that. So it's good to be back with you guys. I missed it. I was excited to fire up stream tonight. So let's see. But a lot of you I met at UCLA, and it was really nice to see all of you guys, see your faces. Really mixed crowd, by the way. Couple white guys, few blacks, Hispanics, lots of Hispanics in California in general. Large Hispanic population. So Justified Misogyny says, had to leave early and couldn't meet you, G. Thanks for wearing a white shirt so we can see you. Didn't want to bother for the pic during the debate. No, you're good, man. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Yeah, I had a white shirt on with the blue zip-up hoodie, right? Like this, but literally blue. You know, because I'm fly, nigga. Eduardo says, Ryad, good speaking to you to UCLA. Good speaking to you as well, man. I asked you about liking certain media posts that could be seen as more controversial at your workplace. Yes, I remember you. Yes. And it was a great question. So we had a good conversation on that. Hopefully I could leave you with, you know, a bit of advice that'd help you out in your future venture. So shout out to you and good luck with everything, bro. Jacob says, who's a better driver, you or Myron? Me, obviously. Me. I drive everywhere. I'm sure, I honestly believe he'd probably concede to that. Thanks for the super chats, guys. I think he would concede to that. I'm a better driver. All I do is drive, nigga. I literally drive everywhere. I do like walking, but that's why I got the rental car. I gotta call an Uber. You're paying so much for Uber. I will say, California gas, bro. What are we doing? You guys were not lying. During the heat of the Iran war at the peak around February, March, and then moving into the later months, April and May, everybody was like, Ryad, gas here in California is $9. Or sorry, not $9, $7. And I'm like, oh, that'll probably drop. That's just a temporary spike or whatever. Bro, I get to the gas station. I'm rushing back to the airport on my way back because I was already late. I got to pump gas. You got to leave the rental car with a full tank. Anyways, so annoying. And I don't look at gas prices, not because I'm rich, but it's like, what are you going to do, not pump gas? So I get out the car to fill up. Bro, that shit said like $6.59 if I'm not mistaken. That's the price of like premium at expensive gas stations in Connecticut. I think premium in Connecticut is like $5.8 and then regular is $4 or something if I'm not mistaken. Like, bro, regular gas is more than premium unleaded in Cali versus Connecticut. It's crazy. That's crazy. So no, you guys in California are getting cooked, and you have all the taxes, and you have all the homeless people. Look, I don't want to glaze California too much. A lot of shit's wrong with the state. But look, if you're in certain areas, it's gorgeous. It's undeniable. Palm trees. Who doesn't like seeing palm trees? That's why I love Miami. That's why I now love Los Angeles, and I will return. But it seems like Los Angeles is a city where you can only have fun if you have the ins. Like, you got to know the right people. Everybody there is pretentious, especially the people who move there versus the people that are actually born there, because they all move there in some aspiration to be a bigger person than they are, and they think that they're better than everybody from their hometown. And like, you get that vibe. I know that's the vibe with LA and stuff. And I met like some random people I shared conversations with. I had In-N-Out, really good. I was the tallest nigga in the In-N-Out because everybody in there was Hispanic and nobody was over the height of 5'7". I walked into In-N-Out, I literally felt like Shaquille O'Neal. I felt like Kobe Bryant. I'm towering over everybody. This is me in the In-N-Out. Ordering and shit. Like, super tall. It's black as hell, tall as hell, sticking out. Because I got if you guys are familiar with the area, I went to the In-N-Out that is closest to like downtown LA, kind of south of LA. And it was, bro, it was a good area, but bro, it was just Hispanics, overwhelmingly Spanish. Everybody was talking Spanish. I walked in that shit, nigga. Niggas is like looking at me. I felt so uncomfortable, I'll be honest. But I didn't care. I got my In-N-Out. I sat there. I ate it. It was nice. I love being alone, traveling alone. It's fun. It was fun because I was alone for that first night. It was a good time. But yeah, I got to do a more extended stay at LA. So God willing, that day will come. But yeah, it was my first time in Cali, so I liked it. I know a lot of people hate it. I liked it. People always associate like the government or the governor or, you know, the state government with like the actual state itself. It's like you got to be able to separate the two. Obviously, Cali's got terrible policy, but it's still like a really nice state. You can't deny that. Like, who cares about that, bro? The state's nice, bro. There's palm trees. It's warm. Like, relax. So don't get hung up on the silly stuff. Starboy says, what do you do besides streaming? What state you in? I'm in Connecticut, and I just have a job. I just have a normal job. He's 6'2". Yeah, I'm 6'2". I'm 6'2". A lot of guys that I met were like, yo, you're like tall like your brother. I'm like, yeah, I'm not short. Come on, bro. Get it right. Come correct or don't come at all. No, my brother's like 6'5". That nigga's mad tall. He's super tall. He always says he's 6'3", cap. He's like 6'4", bro. If you've met Myron in person, you know exactly what the hell I'm talking about. Super tall. But anyways, yeah, that's what happened in LA. It was a good time. It was a fun time. Got to see my brother. I don't get to see him often, so had some fun. Did you go to San Fran? No, I didn't, but I hear San Fran's even better than LA. That's what I'm hearing from the people. That's what the people are telling me. So that'll be next, and I'm sure I'll love it. And I've realized as I've aged, I don't travel a lot. Like, I really don't travel a lot, but I love to travel. Like, I geek out when I travel. Like, I realize I'm happy. I'm like, wow, this is cool. Like, I really love this. And it's because I'm tied down with the job, like a full-time job. And it's not easy to always get time off whenever you want it. And the time off can sometimes carry a penalty in your productivity and your job and your numbers and stuff. And so, you know, I can take time off, of course, but I don't have all the freedom to just travel here and travel there and do this and do that. And, you know, when I do travel, I greatly appreciate it. It's a lot of fun. You know, I haven't seen much. I've been to the Middle East. I've been to Europe. You know, I've seen a decent amount, but like, I'm not a travel junkie. But who knows, if the opportunity presents itself and it makes sense for me to travel, I'll do that. But I don't like pausing my life, to be honest. You know, I don't know if you guys can relate to that, but like, you know, when you travel, everything is paused. If you have a gym routine, that's cooked. You got a diet, that's cooked. You come off the plane, you're bloated as hell. Nose is all messed up and dry. You're jet lagged. At least when you go to LA, you actually gain some time. But when you come back, you're cooked. You're losing 3 hours. I got on the plane at 6:20, or we boarded at 5:40. We took off at like 6:20 a.m. I get to JFK at 3. Like, brother. You know, going from the West Coast to the East, brutal, bro. Brutal. And I'm forgetting. I'm not taking that into account. So I'm like, oh, I'll get back. It'll be a perfect day. I'll have the day in New York and then get to Connecticut. Nah, nigga. Day was over by the time I landed. Tough. So, yeah, traveling is great when you get to where you want to go, but the process of actually getting to where you want to go, like traveling, getting on the plane, boarding, security. I have clear and stuff, so I go through that quickly, but it's just annoying. It's just annoying. Airport food, trash. Packing, trash. Unpacking, arguably worse than packing, trash. So, but when you're there, it's amazing, and it's worth it. It's worth it. But yeah, maybe some more trips to come. Like I said, it's hard for me, but if I get enough time ahead, or enough in advance as to when I need to travel or where I'm going, I can get that time off. So lots of fun, lots of fun. Start vlogging and posting your trips? Maybe. What if I did an IRL stream? That would be fire, right? But shout out to all of you guys in the chat. It was great meeting all of you. It was really cool to meet a lot of you guys. Like, again, I was shocked at how many people wanted to like take photos with me. I was like, wow, like, you know, guys, Myron's the guy who should be taking photos. People were like, yeah, like we can get pictures, right? I'm like, yeah. Oh, Myron will be done soon. Like, you know, stick around to like 3:15. And they're like, no, I mean with you. I'm like, oh, really? You know, so took some photos. It was good. But anyways, I'm yapathon over here. We'll go over everything that's happened since I've been gone, which, newsflash, hasn't been a whole lot. So you really haven't missed out on anything except the fact that we've witnessed the same pattern over and over and over and over again with the situation in Iran. Donald Trump says we have a deal. Iran says maybe there's a deal, but we're not really talking to the president like that, the way he says he's talking to us. Trump says we'll have a deal tomorrow. Iran says, no, we won't. Trump says I'm reviewing the details. Then Trump says he doesn't like it, proposes a new deal, little strike in the Strait of Hormuz. We hit their coastline one time. They hit the UAE. Then it's back to talks. Then we're on peace. Then we do it again. And it's like, what are we doing? And, you know, we're mowing the lawn, right? But really, I think this is a situation where, like I've said, not to be vindicated, but like I've said previously, it's a very tough situation for the United States to handle and balance. If the war in Iran breaks out at full scale like it was in the beginning, well, then the Gulf countries will be involved inadvertently. You know, whether we want them to be involved or not, Iran will leverage their innocence, if one will, and strike them and make it painful for the United States to continue the bombing campaign against Tehran or anywhere else in Iran, whether it's Natanz, Fordo, Isfahan, or any of the other nuclear sites that potentially exist. And so we've had to kind of cease that bombing campaign and that aggression against Iran. And as a result, they've continuously blocked the Strait of Hormuz. They have not opened it up. They're still tolling the ships. Now they're saying that they're charging the ships an environmental tax. And the administration is trying to rewrite the way they're like taxing the ships. Hey, that's just a nice way of saying they're going to make money on the Strait and there's nothing we can do about it unless we start the war back up full-fledged again. So, pure cope. But I have an article from Axios here, and then also Donald Trump did an interview with Fox News, I believe, with his daughter-in-law, Laura Trump, and so we're going to react to that. I haven't seen any of it. I purposely avoided the clip so I can have a raw reaction here on stream with you guys. I think it dropped today, if I'm not mistaken. It was dropped yesterday, sorry. So it came out yesterday on Saturday. So we'll react to that, and then Trump's Truth Social posts, you know, same old, same old. And also, we will go over the situation with Israel and Lebanon. And this is out of the New York Times, just to give you guys the title before I actually get into it later. And we may join Myron in a moment here. But this is titled, Israel Captures Crusader Castle That Symbolized Its Long Lebanon Occupation. And that's the seizure of the Beaufort or Beaufort. I don't even know how it's pronounced. I believe it's Beaufort, actually. But that castle in southern Lebanon, that is a very good vantage point over the Litani River that the IDF previously had control of in 2000. And then them pulling out was kind of symbolically to say that they were no longer trying to annex the Strip, or at least southern Lebanon for that time, but now they've recaptured it. Benjamin Netanyahu has commanded the military to get aggressive. Ben Gvir is trying to move into a suburb south of Beirut that has a Shia Muslim majority in order to eradicate any semblance of this Hezbollah presence that they're talking about. And the casualties are speaking for themselves. I mean, I believe there's about 3,300 Israeli soldiers or IDF soldiers that have been KIA at this point, and Hezbollah right behind, not tallying far off, with about 3,000 or 3,100 casualties, if my memory serves me correctly from what I heard earlier on my brother's stream. One of the supporters keeps up with that. So, you know, it keeps ramping up, and there have been brief pauses, but it seems like every single time Donald Trump hints that we're close to a deal, Israel ramps up, and they've been doing the same thing with Gaza as well. They just bombed a beach in Gaza and killed about 10 people, and or injured about 10 people and killing one. And I believe this was today, earlier this morning. And so they're not slowing down with any of their military onslaught in Gaza as well. And this is them taking the opportunity and doing as much damage as they can before a potential 60-day ceasefire is reached, which is what the goal is of these peace talks or of these negotiations. We're going back and forth. just for a 60-day buffer to go back and forth even more. So all of this tit for tat with the United States and Iran in regards to negotiations is just for an extended 60 days to continuously argue about the situation of their nuclear program and what they're going to do. And Donald Trump is saying one of the main demands that the United States and Washington has from Iran is to not pursue a nuclear weapon. And as general as that is, Iran said, sure, if that's your ultimate ask, well, then we can talk to you about that. But when it gets to the intricacies of enriched uranium, of relocating the uranium, of downblending it, of destroying it overall, that's where it gets dicey. And that's where Iran is not on the same page as the United States for obvious reasons, right? And Mujtaba Khamenei in the beginning of last month, actually, now we're almost in June, but I believe he said this in the beginning of April around the start of the ceasefire when we were having these talks and J.D. Vance was asking for maximalist demands. The supreme leader, the son of the former leader who was killed, Mujtaba Khamenei, had said that Iran's enriched uranium is precious to the soil and it won't leave the soil. And that's what the parliament speaker has echoed as well in some way. And the foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, and even the president, Pezeshkian, they've all said these are things that are just far too great in terms of a demand for us to concede on. And so that may not be the case, actually. And the United States is saying the exact opposite. This has been the situation from the get-go. And so nothing really different, but we'll get into the article here and give you guys all the live developments. And I'll call, actually, Myron seems to be ready, so I'll call him on Discord. New haircut. Yeah, I'm black maxing. You like it? I'm rocking with it. I'm rocking with it. I really love the new cut. You know, I feel like it gives me a flavor. The low cut was like, I just felt like I looked like a stupid corporate nigga. I don't know. You know, like I want to come off professional, but gotta be a little pretty. I got, you know, a little pretty boy spice, right? But no, it's just, I literally just wet the hair every morning and get a little taper, line it up. I did get rid of the beard, I must admit. And you know why? I'll say this before we join Myron. I'll call him right now. I'm just yapping tonight. You know, I'm in a talkative mood. But you know why? Hey, DPG, thank you so much, man. Appreciate you for the big super chat. DPG with the big 50. Big support of the show. God bless you, bro. DPG is always showing love from the beginning. Since the first day I was streaming here, so thank you so much. Don DeMarco for you even being in the chat. Shout out to you, man. Don DeMarco said, hey, bro, sent you a DM. We will talk W stream, bro. Appreciate that. I'll check it out. You must have just sent it because I didn't see it earlier. So I'm guessing you just sent it, but I will check that out in a moment. But thank you so much for the big super chat. But yeah, nah, it's crispy. It's crispy, right? I got it lined up. And the lineup looks sharper when the hair is out, you know? And I said this the other day. I'm going to say it again because it's good ball knowledge. This is important. You got to play into who you are. Okay? Hear me out. Like, you know, obviously I'm black. I grow like coarser hair. It's not that nappy. It's pretty soft, actually. But, like, I grow coarser hair. So why not play into it, get the curls going? You know, little tighter curls, but, you know. It suits me. You know, it suits me. I'm not going to get a big 2K afro. I'm not going to get, like, a big 2017 Ball is Life afro. I'm not going to do that. But, you know, a little something. Give it a little flavor. And I shaved the beard because the beard is just scary. I'm not going to lie. The beard is good. It's also halal. It's giving Muslim, and I should keep the beard. But you know, like, bro, I'm 24. People never guess I'm 24. That's why I ended up paying way more for the rental car than I was supposed to. Because I'm walking up to the desk with this scruffy beard. It had a little fade. I guess no one's noticing that. And the guy's like, oh, yeah, man, I'll get you right. No problem, essay. He was Hispanic. I was just being funny. And he's like, oh, man, you're under 25, man. I gotta tax you. I gotta bill you. I'm like, all right, bro, I'm shaving this shit. So I got back home, I shaved that shit off. Bro, I'm tired of being scrutinized. People are slandering my age. No one ever guesses I'm 24. And it really bothers me, actually. You know, I'm going to be vulnerable here. I don't want to look 30, 35. Like, I want to look my age. So I'm like, yo, maybe I'm like too professional, clean looking. You know, I got like the low cut, nothing much, just a little fade. And I got like the beard. I'm coming too correct. I got to nigga it up a little bit. I got to add a little nigga flavor. So niggas is being niggas, you know. I got a little nigga cut, you know. Feel me? We spicing it up. And the ladies have been giving me good responses, you know. not that I deal with women, but you know, the girls that I know in my life, oh, Ryad, it looks good. I'm like, yeah, I know it does. I know, baby. I know. Mama, I'm just joking. Mama. She's definitely watching this. Mom and Dad, I'm joking. That's a joke. No women, no girls. Okay? We don't do that.
Haram!
All right, let's call Myron Gaines. I'm calling him now. So if you're in his chat, let him know I'm calling. Because I text him, but you know, I'm just chopped liver. He doesn't see my text. But yeah, it's crazy. Oh, there we go. Bro joined fast.
Yo.
Hold
on, let me get myself on the camera here. What do you discuss so far?
I just been yapping about my afro, but I was talking about the situation in Iran, going over Axios' latest article.
Yeah, let's do that because I haven't covered Iran yet. I'm done with the Patrick Bet-David with the Coffeezilla shit, so we can
perfect.
We can definitely
I love it. I'm getting everything set up
we can
right
do
now.
that. I was talking about how like it's an L for both, and I'm like, Patrick should have never jumped on the phone with that nigga, and then Coffeezilla is kind of a loser for trying to get him to like apologize on camera. Like, that's weird.
Yeah, that was crazy work. I'm not gonna lie. But if you don't mind, I know you've been talking about this ad nauseum for the last like hour or so, but yeah. I don't know if my viewership is really privy to that situation. I'm not so updated like you are. So like, what's the brief explanation as to what's going on there? What's the deal with that?
So basically, Pat took $1 million from this guy that got indicted for wire fraud. The guy that he took $1 million from was running a Ponzi scheme. And for your audience that might not know, a Ponzi scheme is essentially, I take, like, let's say you work with me, right? You invest with me. I take your money, right? And I tell you, I'm going to give you a return, Ryad. I take your money. And then I get a second guy. Yo, I'm going to give you a return, bro. And then I take the money from the second guy and then give you a kickback from his money. And then I just leapfrog and doing that shit over and over. And basically that's what this guy was doing. For this guy, he was like running like a crypto, private equity fund or whatever the fuck, a whole bunch of bullshit, and saying that he was going to promise you're going to get them 4% returns per month, which, is just not feasible. But basically that's what he was doing. He was taking $100,000 from the one guy and then and putting it into a fund, and not putting it in the right fund, by the way, was putting it in like different bank accounts, which that's what the IRS got him caught up on, was the wire fraud and like the agreement. That's what really jammed him up. And then this guy paid $1 million to sponsor a Patrick Bet-David event. So he sponsored an event, right? He sponsored an event, paid $1 million, sponsored the event. He was like the headline guy, right? And and the reason why people do this is so that they can get the clout, because like Patrick, like obviously with PBD podcast, that's what I was trying to tell people. The reason why Patrick will have me on, guys, is because like he runs a consulting business, and the majority of their money comes from doing these vault seminars, okay? And then he gets people, these business owners, to invest and pay for a vault seminar, right? Host it. They pay the $1 million. He shows up. He sells tickets to that. So they pay the money for the venue, $1 million. Then he's selling tickets for $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, $100,000. They're making millions of dollars at each of these events.
Damn.
Then they're doing a consulting on top of that. They're selling a consulting. So someone pays for your event. You make money at the event. So it's money hand over fist, right? So he probably made millions of dollars from that event. And then that guy put up the $1 million. That dude that put up the $1 million to host the event was the one that was running the Ponzi scheme. So Coffeezilla's telling him, like, are you gonna, pay the $1 million back that you took, blah, blah. And David is like, Pat is like saying like, well, I'm talking to people, blah, blah, blah. Are you gonna apologize? Look, getting to try to apologize is kind of fucked up. Like, come on, bro. He's in the middle. He has a proxy to a criminal investigation, and he could open himself up civilly. Asking for an apology is just weird. But what I said was like, he should have never jumped on the phone with him. He should never even talked to him.
Yeah, that was a big mistake. I was watching some of that on your stream. The fact that he was on the phone with him and he was recording it. Was he aware that he was being recorded, or the guy didn't even have?
Yeah. No, he told him, I'm going to record the conversation, everything. But I get it. Pat, like, because a lot of business gurus run from people like Coffeezilla, right? So Pat is like, no, I'm going to run towards it. I'm not going to let him like,
I'm not going to play into
I'm not going to like,
away.
Yeah, I'm not going to play into it because no one else will talk to Coffeezilla. I will, right? But the problem with that is you don't have all the legal T's and I's crossed, so you can't give the answers that you need to give to a nigga like that.
Yeah.
Right?
And he's gonna ask the right questions.
Yeah, he's gonna ask the right questions. He's gonna try to make it look like blah blah blah. And then like the other thing too is like optically, right? Like, people accuse you of running like a Ponzi scheme, right? Like, you made your money with insurance, whatever. People accuse him of that, MLM, whatever.
MLM, yeah,
and then,
pyramid scheme.
And then you take money from a guy that's literally got charged by the IRS for that crime, right? Right, for a Ponzi scheme. So optically, it looks horrible, and I get it. He doesn't want to run from it and look like he has something to hide, but by going in and doing a phone call with him and then like deflecting, obfuscating, not answering questions directly, etc., it looks worse. What I think he should have done, right, was tell him, look, let me handle this shit. We're handling some stuff legally. Once that's done, you're going to be the first interview. Give me 3 weeks. I'm going to give you an exclusive interview. We'll sit down. I'll bring all my records. You can ask whatever you want. And then before I show up to the interview, that million's paid back. Because that's the main win in the sales for this guy.
That's a good idea.
Oh, so are you going to apologize for the people that you, 1 million? Oh, actually, we paid everybody back already.
Yeah.
You sit down. Money's already been paid back. Well, you paid. Yeah, it's been. Yeah. That's why I needed a little bit of time. But yeah, everyone's been made right. We handled it. We made changes to the staff. We're going to actually have people that screen these sponsors significantly harder. As a matter of fact, one of the reasons why I wanted to meet you in person was I wanted to bring you on a team. If you're interested, we'd love to have you on to help, vet sponsors, right? We actually want to run every sponsor by you. We'd love to have you on the team for that. And then you flip it on that bitch ass nigga. Just like that. That would have been the way to handle it.
Yo, maybe Patrick Bet-David should look into hiring you as an advisor or something, man. Maybe you need to be his right-hand man. We need to send you to Iran to negotiate the nuclear, and then we got to send you over to Fort Lauderdale to help this nigga PBD with his scheme and shit.
Bro, you never jumped on there with him, bro. Like,
because God forbid Tucker gets wind of this, which he already has. He might have a field day. Pat's Tucker might see this shit and rub his hands. I don't know if he's responded to this yet, but
he probably will. Because remember, Pat gave him that thing like, oh, well, we want to see how about we show our financials?
Yeah.
Let's see who I'm funded by, and I'll show you who I'm funded by. And here's the thing, right? Anyone that's smart knows that, like, someone like Patrick, bro, like, he's living off probably his insurance money that he made. He doesn't touch anything that's made from value to him. He probably doesn't touch anything made from PBD. All that money gets reinvested back. He was selling Coffeezilla, like, oh, yo, I don't take any profits, blah, blah. Like, bro, nobody cares about any of that shit. Like that's like sophisticated talk that Coffeezilla's audience doesn't want to hear. Those niggas are all brokies. They don't know nothing about like advanced tax strategy, whatever. They just want to watch course gurus and like finance bros take L's on the internet. That's all they care about. They just want to see people get exposed. Like they want to be like, yes, I knew that person wasn't really rich. I knew it was all smoke and mirrors. That's what they want, right? That's all they care about. So you getting on there talking about, I don't take a profit, blah, blah, blah. Like you're already going into like an antagonistic audience for you. Like I was trying to say this, like someone like Patrick Bet-David is the top op for Coffeezilla's audience, right? Like they hate him more than they would hate someone like me even.
Oh,
right?
1 million. Oh, 1,000,000%. Because Patrick Bet-David's whole thing is like advice and making money. And that's how he started, when he was doing interviews with these big guys like Khabib and Kobe Bryant, that was fresh off of the whole like MLM scandal and like what people were accusing him of. Who knows what's true? I'm not pointing any accusations or fingers, but that was after the whole pyramid scheme thing. So it's like a wet dream for these guys to be able to have this opportunity to talk to him and quote unquote expose him. And I look, not to play devil's advocate or anything, but a lot of these guys in that space do fraud. There's some guys who are dishonest about that stuff and scam people with that kind of thing. So it was definitely a huge mistake for him to answer the phone. When I heard him on the phone on the video, I was like, is he really talking to him? But
and he's going to talk the whole time too. That's another thing. He said, I got to go, blah, blah, blah. And like, obviously, first he said like, oh, he just said, hey, I'm with my family, blah, blah. And they said, I just landed, blah, 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 which obviously people take things out of context. We get it. He probably just landed somewhere. He's with the fam. He's probably going to go do a seminar or whatever. So like, he didn't even have enough time to like fully address the conversation. So it's like, it's just an L in so many different ways. And I would argue like you're going into Shark's territory and his fans, like you're not going to convert those fans, bro. Like, it's about like kind of knowing where you're going. Like you're not going to convert people on his platform because they already hate people like you off rip.
That's why they're there.
Right? That's why they're there. So if you're going to go there and have a sit down with them, you got to go in there bulletproof. And it's like, you got to be able to answer all the questions and honestly have the answers to the questions already, not deflect, not obfuscate. Now I can't answer that because this. It's like, you got to go in there where it's like, you got to take out his main point. You already know he's going to grow you first on the $1 million. It's already been paid back. Now he's cooked. What does he have now? What is he going to say? Yeah, we paid everybody back. Is he going to say, oh yeah, you need to apologize? That would sound preposterous because we already gave the money back to the people that matter.
Yes. Yeah, that's true.
And mind you,
all he needed is a couple weeks to do it. It's too late now.
Exactly. Here's the thing too. The $1 million, right? That $1 million, we don't know how much Delgado scammed the niggas that were there. Remember, this nigga Delgado paid $1 million to get in front of everybody to push this bullshit ass Goliath thing. So we don't even know how much money he scammed there. The $1 million was just to fucking do the event. So basically, PvD probably made that much money, if not more. Nigga, just take a little bit of a profit loss, right? Take a little bit of a profit loss, pay the $1 million back so you can tell Coffeezilla, fuck you. Yeah. And then be able to like reverse him. That's how you win his dumbass audience over, even though none of them niggas are gonna want to even fuck with you. But that's how you're able to like, you know, shut him up.
It'll at least stop them in their tracks, right? In their attempted investigation. Like they won't have anything else to find a lead on if he were to do that. Yeah, he made a huge mistake by talking to him prematurely when none of the facts were straight or he didn't have time to straighten out his own situation. Wait, so
he probably can't even talk about a lot of it.
Yeah, he definitely can. He might have screwed up in that aspect as well. How much of this is like becoming mainstream? I'm seeing some stuff on X, but is this a big story? Like, is he getting smoke for this?
I think so, man. I mean, he had to again been smoked because he actually took a phone call.
Yeah. And if he really just had landed, that's bad. Because taking a phone call when you just get off a plane and you're moving from A to B and then transitioning. Yeah. That's
and I get it. From his perspective, he's looking at it like, I'm not going to run from this guy because this guy makes a business on trying to destroy other people's businesses.
Reputation,
so I'm not going to run from this guy. I'm gonna deal with this guy head on. But the problem is that he doesn't have the equipment right now to deal with him head on because he can't talk about everything because obviously he's been subpoenaed and he can't talk about everything. So and that's that, like guys like Coffeezilla love that shit because they're gonna be like, see, look, he's like obfuscating, he's blah blah blah. But it's like, no, dude, it's like not being a fucking idiot. Like literally, it's an IRS criminal investigation with the other guy. It's like, why is he gonna apologize and open himself up to liability? But his fans don't care about that. So you got to come in and like, you got to come in and like almost like cut them at the fucking knees so they can't say certain shit.
Yeah. Damn. Wow, that's not a good looking situation, but I mean it's something that can easily diffuse in the next few weeks at least. So
yeah.
It's gonna keep up with it. That's interesting though.
Forget about it. His audience, like the thing is like I don't think he'll lose many fans for that shit. Like he's gonna some people might get mad or whatever, but like he's gonna keep doing what he's doing because the thing is people forget is like PvD is not really known for like that's how he makes his money, but that's not what he's known for. He's known for doing the podcast. The podcast is just a funnel for the conferences.
Yes. Yeah. But he's known as a public figure for the news, for his opinions on stuff. Exactly. And he really just does what he wants with that show because that's not his main moneymaker. Like we've said before, with his whole operation, everything he has at Valuetainment, he's probably not making much, if at any all. He's just breaking even. It's really his consulting and everything else that brings in the cash, which is a lot of cash because, I watched his house tour a couple years ago. If you guys have seen that video, this guy's loaded. Patrick B-David makes very good money. Yeah. He's loaded. So... And
he probably lived off his he probably like put all his after he sold his company, he probably put it into an account, lives off dividends, and then like he's able to just run Valuetainment and everything like that completely independently and like doesn't have to worry about taking profits and like that's it.
Yeah. It's just solely for him to flex the clout, honestly.
100%. Like, and I was telling my audience this earlier. Like, there's lots of people out there that like are rich, but they want influence and power because the power actually comes from the influence. It doesn't come so much from the money as you guys think. So like, he had the money and he was like, all right, I have the money. What am I going to do? I'm going to build a media company. Building a media company gives you an enormous amount of credibility. And then I'm going to be on YouTube. I'm going to get famous. And then bam, from there, you can make the money after that.
Yeah.
So that's literally what he did with building Valuetainment up was like, built that money. It took money. Obviously, it took his money enough for him to live. Yeah, and then after that, boom. Now let me go ahead and put the money into Valuetainment and just reinvest all the money we make from this right back right into it so we can grow it faster.
Yeah, and when you're rich, that you're right. It's like yin and yang. People can have tons of money, but if you don't have like that power and influence, maybe you have power, but if you don't have that influence, if you don't have that fame, if you're not recognized for something that's actually commendable or anything like that, it is that missing piece to a lot of like very wealthy people's lives that they crave. So that's why you're right. You always see these like really rich people who are nobodies hanging around maybe people who don't have that much money, but they've got tons of status because one can give the other that exact thing that they don't have. So that's another reason why he's able to capitalize. Go ahead.
I'll give you an example right now. And by the way, guys, I'm dropping my brother's YouTube channel in here. Please open up a tab and watch him on YouTube. Let's get him to 1,000 live viewers. He's sitting at about 600. He's sitting at 666, so we need to switch that up, okay? But yeah, I dropped this link in there, guys. Open up a tab, watch him on YouTube for me, please. And then obviously keep me open on Kick, and then open up a tab for him on YouTube. I'm dropping a link right there. Please do me that favor. So here's the thing, and I've noticed this, Ryad, since like getting into this side of the world, and you'll see this more when I bring you around more. You're gonna see, like, if you guys notice, look at like famous guys, look at the people in their entourage. 9 out of 10 times, the people in their entourage are like, those guys all have money, but they're not famous. They just want to be around someone that is famous. So they'll pay for the club, they'll pay for the bottles, they'll pay for they'll cover all the shit. They'll like cover entourage costs, all that stuff, right? And a lot of people will do that just so they could be around someone famous. I don't want to mention names, but like there's a rapper I know in LA where he literally just puts the tab to these 2 guys that he's always with. And they just pay for everything. They're the rich ones, but they just want to be around. They want to have the access. They want to be around a rapper. And he's not even, this is like a D-list, E-list rapper, right? Like not even famous, but they want to pay for the access. Because he knows people in LA and shit like that. So they just like pay, they just pay for everything and they want to be around them. Yeah. I'm not going to say it. Come on, man. I'm not going to like fucking out people like that. That's weird.
Yeah, that is true. You would never out somebody like that. No, but I mean, it's kind of an even trade-off. A lot of people do crave that influence, so if you got the money, I can only imagine having like hundreds of millions of dollars and like walking outside and no one knows. Like that does kind of suck. You gotta flex that shit, nigga. So if you get around somebody who's got status, it almost makes sense in a way. Not to sound so crude or like shallow, but it is
only old dudes. It's like old dudes and like old money that do that. But it's like every time there's like a young guy or like some dude that's like under like 60 or under 50, like they always want the clout too, and they'll have no problem with like paying for and hanging out with like look at Make Mill with dumbass Derek Rubin, the Rubin nigga, the guy that
Michael Rubin,
like he wasn't really famous, like people didn't really know him like that. So what did he do? Hung out with rappers so that he can like be around them and shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like a lot of these like billionaires guys
had blackmail on them too. Had this nigga Meek Mill doing tricks in the pool and shit.
Yeah, exactly. So and they do it because what ends up happening is like they pay for everything. They cover all that shit. And they just want to be around like famous guys. So like this is not uncommon, guys, to like see like famous people with like other people that are unknown, but those unknown people are the ones like funding shit. It's actually like no one really talks about it unless you're like in the game and you understand how, rappers move and shit like that. With rappers, it's pretty common. Like they'll have like some dude, like you see like the random white guy in there or whatever, not like, or like some guy that like doesn't like fit the part. Like what's this guy doing here? That'll be the dude that has the money.
He's the funds. Yeah. He's the funds. Nah, it's true. It's true. A lot of people will pay for that. And look, the money gives you access. If you didn't have the money, you wouldn't be able to hang with those people. So it pays for itself in a way.
Now you're able to get bitches. Now you're cool. Now you're kind of line at the club. Now you got like, because having money, right, with like no status, like a lot of girls aren't going to be able to, like, you're going to have to like,
it's like fries with no ketchup, bro. You need both of them. I'm not going to lie. Like you do need both of them. Even if it's local status, like if you're known locally in your town or your county as somebody, like even that's enough. But when you got all that money and no one recognizes you for it, I could imagine like it feels like there's an element that's missing. Like where's the recognition? Where's the bitches? You know what I'm saying? Because a nigga could have a ton of money, but it's not going to unlame him. So sometimes they got to hang around those cool famous people and get a lot of those good benefits, man. No
good point. So yeah, but no, like rappers are notorious for doing that shit. But yeah, there's like rappers I know that literally like they do that shit. Like they don't even make money like that. The dudes that they be with make more money, but those guys don't have connections. And here's the thing in LA, okay? In LA, right? And this happens a lot in LA, by the way. In LA, it's all connections. It doesn't matter if you got money. It doesn't matter if you like are rich or whatever. LA is all about who you know. Are you famous? Do you got clout? That's how you get access in LA. Like, you can't eat a certain, like, what's the restaurant? Delilah's or whatever? Like on Wednesday nights or whatever. You can't get in there unless you're famous, unless you know people, right? It doesn't matter if you got money. So like, with LA, since it's like all about access, what ends up happening is there's dudes that like are famous, but they don't got no money like that, or they don't want to spend their money or whatever. So what will happen is a lot of guys that do have money will gladly leech onto a rapper or someone that's famous that might not have as much money, and they'll fund everything, bro, because it gives them the clout, it gives them the status, it gives them the ability to, pull chicks, whatever. Because in LA, status is everything. You could be a broke TikToker, and you might do better than a guy that like runs a hedge fund.
100%. 100%. We were saying that in the rental car. We were saying, I was telling you the vibe that I get from LA is, and I've kind of seen this growing up, like using those old apps like Vine and now TikTok and all this stuff, and seeing all these content creators on TikTok these days, is in LA, it's about who you know. Like, if you don't have the ins, it's probably a boring ass city to stay in. Like, New York City is different, and I know that because I practically have been in New York City over like 1,000 times. I've been there hundreds of times. I live right outside of New York City, and you can have a lot of fun in New York City if you have money. You know, it's not always about who you know per se. Whereas in LA, it's like, you know, if you don't know the right people, if you don't have connections, you know, you don't. It's like the underground house parties, the club within a club. Like those are the parts of LA that really make it enjoyable for somebody who is well within the scene. But if it's just the surface, if you're trying to have fun as a tourist, it could be cool. But, you know, there is a degeneracy that you won't be able to access unless you know the right people. You get that. And that's where the whole like pretentious people in LA come from. It's the guys who move there and think that there's somebody and like, I left my hometown. And so, no, that's definitely the vibe there. That's certainly very true. That's very true.
And like it's simple. Like you're just not gonna, because in LA, right? And you guys, I'll really go into this. See, now I'm showing like my old
give us the lore
game stuff, the old lore. So every city is different, right? Like when it comes to like getting girls and like being able to like climb the ranks of like, you know, trying to, if you want to get your notch count up or date, whatever. LA is very status based. So if you're a guy, right, and you're in LA and you don't have money like that, but you're famous, you'll do better than like being in New York City, because New York City is like having money, right? Like if you have money in New York City, you can still get access. You can go to like the top clubs. You can go to like, you know, Mr. Purple or One Oak or one of these clubs, like one of these like super exclusive places. And like in New York City, since it's such a high cost of living and like there's so many finance bros and guys that like are unknown, but they have a lot of money or foreign money or whatever, like you can get by in New York City, not being famous, but just like having access to certain places. And also like New York City has like a thriving nightlife where everything, you know, closes at 4 or 5 a.m. Like there's after hour spots, whatever. If you want to get into the after hour spots or exclusive parties, yes, you're going to need some level of status, but you can get there to a degree by knowing the right people and being in the right places and having financial access, right? Because that's how New York City is. It's a bigger city. Now in LA, since it's like, you know, star power and everyone's famous, like you need something beyond the money, because there's people there that got a lot of money, but that doesn't matter since you got, you know, everyone there has money. So like what's going to differentiate? Well, what's going to differentiate is the fame, right? And then a lot of time the fame assumes or implies money. So you can kind of like fake it till you make it there better than you can in New York City. And with LA, since the nightlife is so trash, you rely way more on social status to get around and meet women and or be set up to certain things. Here's another thing that a lot of people don't talk about in LA, and I'm going to say it for you guys. As much as you guys think so, there's not a lot of attractive women in LA. Okay? New York City too. There's not a lot of attractive women in LA or New York City. It's not like Miami. In Miami, you can land here, go to a club, and you'll see baddies. It's common here. New York City, LA, you're only going to see the hot girls in New York City when you go to the top clubs that you got to spend money at, okay? Because that's where they're at. LA, you're only gonna see the baddies in the exclusive places where the celebrities are at, which you're not gonna get invited unless you're somebody or you know somebody. That's how it is. There's not an abundance of beautiful women in LA or New York City to the point where you're gonna see them at like, you know, a dive bar. Like in Miami, you can walk into a dive bar and you're gonna see hot girls because beauty is extremely common here. It's a very Latin-esque city. The women take better care of themselves. They're not fat. They're, you know,
it's a looks-maxing city, bro. Everybody's in shape. Yeah,
exactly. So since it's a looks-maxing city, right, and beauty is very common here, and it's competitive, we have lots of attractive women. So you can go to a dive bar and find a hot girl in Miami. You're not gonna go to a dive bar in New York City and find a hot girl. You're gonna see like hippopotamus, ugly feminist hippopotamus that look like crap.
And the mid ones will act like they're bad too. That's the real kicker. The ones that are like 6s think they're 9s because of how deflated the market is, because there's not that many bad bitches. That's actually like a positive to Miami. A girl can't think that her looks is the only or the best thing going for her, because the bitch next to you may look just as good, if not better. And they know that. You know, like the problem with finding a baddie in like these cities where it's scarce is if the girl knows that, in which she will, yeah, she'll leverage that, and she'll be a piece of shit if she can leverage that over you, if she knows that.
So like, and knowing that, right? So like, that's why it's so important when you're in New York City or LA, you got to be at a good spot where there's a lot of attractive girls. So like the girls kind of get it, like they're not that special. That's why ratios are so important. If you go to a house party in LA, a lot of times you got to bring girls with you, right? And they're super hyper like aggressive on ratios, right? Because they're throwing house parties or whatever. Same thing with bars in New York City. Yeah, like they have to maintain a certain ratio of bars in New York City at the top spots. So that is really like some of the key differences. So like Vegas, Miami, you can land, have a good time, find girls without having to be exclusive, right? Because they're kind of tourist destinations. Like there's a tourist infrastructure. Like New York and LA aren't really set up like that. LA's nightlife is garbage because everything closes at 2, so you need to know the right people, and then there's not an abundance of attractive girls, and we know how women are. They're hypergamous. So guess what? An attractive girl is going to get invited to house parties. Like she's not, or exclusive parties. She's not going to go to a dive bar in LA. You're going to only see like ugly girls at dive bars. Kind of same thing in New York City. Hot girls are not going to be at dive bars. You're going to find them at exclusive spots only where you got to pay to play. And then when you do see like the mids, like my brother said in New York City, they're going to be on some BS. To be honest with you guys, if you're a guy, New York City and LA are not as good as you guys think. They're really not. If you're a woman, being a woman in New York City is better for you.
Balling, yeah.
Because you're going to run into finance bros. You're going to run into guys like, that have money or whatever. Like
New York
like
City
if you're
is
a woman,
one of the places in the world, the few places in the world where you can genuinely just walk by a billionaire every other block. Like it can happen. It's actually normal. You're a multi-millionaire. And so if you're an attractive girl, it just takes attention from one of the right people in order to get involved in a circle that has tons of money, maybe even influence status. It's definitely a lot easier to come by because New York is just so densely populated. It's 8 million, I think, people inside of the city, and it's not the biggest city ever. Yeah. So it's just too many people, too much money, too much infrastructure, too many companies, Wall Street,
It's a better, like I'll say, like for women, it's a better dating environment because you're more than likely going to find, like, okay, in LA, you're probably going to find like some idiotic dude who wants to be a TikToker or an influencer trying to kind of figure out whatever. Like the reason why I say like New York City, Boston, DC is better if you're a female is you're going to find someone that more than likely is like not an idiot, college educated, more intelligent than like counterparts in LA or in the South. They're going to have a stable job more than likely because like you can't be a brokey and live in Manhattan.
Exactly.
Right? You can't really fake it. You need to really actually have some real income to live in New York City, especially
any of the boroughs. You've got to have motion. If you want to live in any of the boroughs and you're living alone, a lot of people LARP, right? Like they have roommates and shit. And so and that's the thing with a lot of these people in New York City. I meet them, I'm like, how do you afford to live out here? Like, how do you make it work? Obviously, it's so expensive. You've got to make a ton of money to make it by and actually have money at the end of the month. And they always say like, I have 2 or 3 roommates. But for the guys that actually live solo and have a decent job in these major cities like Boston, New York, LA, like these are not creme de la creme, but this is pretty much the best it's going to get before a guy is famous. And even them, like they're not enough. And I know that because those guys are my friends. Like I'm friends with a lot of guys who make a lot of money in New York City. I got a couple buddies in Boston, actually very close to Northeastern. And they tell me dating life is like not that easy, despite the fact that these guys are like high 6-figure, some of them low 7-figure earners. They can't make anything shake. And it's like, that's how inflated the market is, bro. And this actually speaks to a louder point. And this is everything that you're saying. Clout is like an undefeated tool for getting boxed, nigga. Yeah. Okay, somebody's just got to say it. It's undefeated. If you can leverage Clout, like if you're with a girl and a nigga walks by and goes, yo, are you? Forget it. It's over, nigga. It's over. She's going to go, wait, who are you? Wait, do you do something? You just play it out like, oh, no, it's nothing. It's nothing. Like, that will get you so much farther than a Lamborghini and $7 million in the bank will do. Or $7 million liquid in the bank will do. It's just, that's just the truth. So, a lot of guys are always hung up on like the money. And you should get the money because you want to create access and freedom for yourself. But if you think the money is just going to, like, get you the hose, it will. But there's a threshold, bro. And, like, the broke niggas with hundreds of thousands and millions of followers on these big platforms are just going to do better than you, despite the fact that they LARP a rich lifestyle, which is easy to do, by the way, in New York or LA. Have a couple roommates, funnel a rental car between the team. Like, people be lying about their lives, man. Real LARP.
Bro, it's the cap is incredible, right? And that's why like Miami is like one of the places that so many people come because you can actually like cap pretty well here. Like a lot of these apartments, you can go ahead and like, not really show income and be able to move in and stuff like that. New York City's kind of not if you're going to live in Manhattan, it's a bit different. But the point I'm trying to make here is like, yes, if you have to pick one amplifier to get girls, I would say by far it's Clout, right? It's by far like status. And then obviously money's like a close second because obviously when you have the status, money's almost like implied. And then obviously like looks and stuff like that matters too. And like I know people are gonna say, oh bro, but like looks matter. Look, you got looks max, whatever. Here's the thing, you guys gotta understand. Like there's some women out there that like it doesn't matter. Like you being handsome is great, but you're gonna get more women by having status than by being good looking.
Yes,
like just being very honest with y'all.
True. And look, it's like a lot of the younger folks don't want to hear that anymore because of the black pill ideology. And I will say the black pill ideology carries a lot of truth. Looks are so important. They're, like, I take good care of myself. Any guy who actually wants to have success in their dating life or just in the way they're treated should take care of their looks because it makes a difference, no doubt about it. However, you can be an ugly thumb. I mean, you can really be a beast, an animal to look at. But if you're well known and people respect you for some reason and a girl feels that, it's over, nigga. And that doesn't even have to be on a global or a national level and where your fame actually stands. You could be like locally known for something. Like, oh, that's the guy that owns that business over there. Or that's the guy that is best friends with the owner of the bar. He's the co-owner or whatever. And if everybody knows you and you walk in the spot or you can skip a line and even in your local small town, that goes a long way for you. And I know that because I've seen guys that are not physically attractive, no homo, but I can discern that. Like, all right, this guy is actually a Chad. This nigga is like subhuman. Regardless of that, though, even the subhuman nigga can have tons of success with women if he knows how to utilize a mouthpiece to some degree, but most importantly, like, he has status. Like, he comes around, people give him free drinks. He's known for something. He owns something. Like, even local clout, bro, goes a long way. Like that, because for the people who are stuck in their hometown or stay home or whatever it is, or in their state, if you're well known in your area, that goes a long way for you as well. And that just
let me give you guys an example.
Yeah.
Like, I'll give you guys a perfect example right now. You text someone like Neon, right? Neon is going to pull more women, right? Even though, universally speaking, like, let's be, he's Indian, right? Short, skinny.
Brutal.
Still, like, early 20s. Like, he has every single unattractive feature, right? Like, and I'm not using that to be like an asshole or whatever, but like, he's literally like the perfect, like, person to show as, like, most women would not find him attractive whatsoever physically, right? Fair, no problem. But he will be able to pull more girls than someone who's extremely attractive but not famous. And the reason why is because when you're famous, you're able to scale. You guys get that? Just by you being famous, you can scale. It's literally sales. So that's why I tell you guys all the time, like, having money and status, the reason why those guys get so much girls is because they're able to scale. And the other thing also you guys need to understand is when you have status and money, you're just going to have a bigger net, right? You're going to have a bigger net to get women, right? Like, by you being a Chad, but you're not famous, well, you have to approach every girl. You still have to be sharp on your game. You still have to, you know, whatever. And then, like, if you don't have your money on point, because there's lots of Chads that, like, don't have their money on point, yeah, you might be able to get a girl here or there. Yeah, maybe you might be able to get laid here or there. But are you going to be able to retain them or whatever? And then if you're in a city like Miami or New York City or LA where it's competitive, you're going to lose your girl to, like, a rich guy. I'm sorry. Like, if you're a brokey but you're a good-looking guy, you're going to lose your girl to some nigga that has clout that's uglier than you, that's shorter than you, that doesn't go to the gym as much as you. Because, unfortunately, like, in these competitive cities, what do the women do? They're all competing for a very small minority of men. So, like, you guys got to understand, the woman herself, by her being with them, her status increases. It's not just that they're attracted to the status. They understand that by getting with that guy or being seen with that guy, their status goes up too. That's why they're so attracted to it. It's not just them siphoning status from like, they're gaining they're like Cell, nigga, like version 1, when he, like, puts the fucking needle in you and he fucking, like, sucks you dry, pause. Like, that's women with clout. Like, why do you think all these girls want to be around Neon all the time? Like, you know, because they're trying to siphon clout. Yeah, you can make the argument, well, they just want it for the clout, blah, blah. But that's still a girl that he has a chance to build attraction with. The fact that they're going to him to try to siphon clout implies attraction to a degree. Do you guys get that? So he has the ability to pull that chick and convert it. A girl that otherwise would have never fucking given him a chance, he's able to pull her and potentially build attraction where otherwise would never been able to happen. Like, that's what I'm trying to explain to you guys. Like, you can make some shit happen when you have status and money that you might not be able to make happen when you're just a Chad with nothing else. Now, let me be clear about this, because I know what niggas are going to say. There's some women that are hyper-focused on looks. If you don't look good, they don't give a fuck. Fair. There's some women like that. But what I will say is, a lot of these women that care about looks first or care a lot about looks, if your status and money is up to a certain point, they'll concede. They'll make exceptions. There's always a level of clout and or money where they'll make exceptions. Look at Michael Jackson. Okay, I used him as an example the other day. He's not like your traditional attractive guy, right? Very effeminate, high-pitched voice, skinny, you know, strange mannerisms, whatever. Bro, bitches want to be around that guy all the time. Girls are literally, like, you know, almost killing themselves to jump on stage to dance with him. Fainting when they see him. So That is the power of status. There's always a point where even if a girl cares about looks first, you can reach a level of status where she's gonna fold.
It negates it. It cancels it out. And I'd also argue as well, when a girl is younger, maybe she's a lot more inclined to say, oh, I only care about looks. I can't be with any guy that's ugly. I can't wake up next to an ugly. But that's because she's young and she hasn't really figured things out yet. And she's just leveraging her looks in every way because she's peak looks. But I feel like as girls get older, especially branching into 30, they really start to worry about security. Security becomes the main concern. That biological instinct kicks in. I need somebody that can not only take care of me, but take care of my family, protect me, provide a roof over my head, sustenance, water, whatever else have you. And so as they get older, they start to realize the importance of that. And what's synonymous with security is likely that status, because if you have status, you can scale from that. Like you said, if you have status, you likely earn a ton of money, or you can easily earn a ton of money, or you have connections to make that happen. And so it's just, bro, I've seen girls around guys that have clout. It's like a spell, nigga. It's like they literally get high. Like they're not even on earth anymore. They just get woozy. It's like, and people think I'm dragging it, but it's really to that level. I mean, look at Clav on streams and people say, oh, excuse me. People say, oh, Clav is super good looking. 100%. He mogs a lot of these guys, but he's also Clav. Like, hello, he's got, 15, 20,000 people watching him live. His clips do millions of views. He's all over TikTok, especially with Gen Z. So these girls are starstruck when they see him.
Oh,
so it's
he's also walking with a camera too. Like it's different when you're
big ass camera with a flash.
You're walking, you're walking with a camera. You're IRL streaming. That's a status symbol in itself, bro. Like when you walk in and you're doing an IRL stream, niggas are like, oh my god, because like streaming is like so fucking like it's like a, I don't want to say it's common, but it's like no now. It's not. You're not a weirdo if you're walking on the camera and like so you're saying like you're streaming. Like that's like a status symbol in of itself.
Yeah. Exactly. It's like, whoa. And not only is he walking around with this big ass camera with a big ass flashlight on him, the guy's following him in his every move, but he's got probably a team with him, a security detail. Up. I mean, bro, like you that's going to increase your chances significantly. And then add on to the fact that obviously he takes care of his looks and he's a good looking guy. Yeah, it's over. That's why you see him just swoop bitches from their niggas like nothing. It's brutal. Like the clips that they make sense that it would play out no other way. The guy's got the whole team with him. He's got the camera. The girls know him, so they're already fanned out prior to even seeing him. They knew who he was. So it's just like, bro, Clout is a hypnotizing drug.
I am so happy when I see clips of him like doing that stuff because it vindicates me every single time.
He's goated.
It vindicates me every time. When I say the things that I say about modern women, and I say that they like, and I give people these red pill truths or whatever, all I got to do is like play a Clav clip and look, look what he gets away with. But you niggas over here sipping on these girls. But they're over here like making out with this guy when he has a girlfriend right there complaining and crying right next to him, and you guys are over here like simping out on some girl like meanwhile she's over here like kissing Clav in a club. Like he vindicates me every time when he does that shit because I'm like, this is hypergamy right here for you guys.
Yeah, real time, and it's just the brutal reality. And a lot of the guys in the comments were saying, "Oh, that girl's a bad girl." No, nigga, your girl would do the same thing, buddy. Okay,
yeah,
niggas think you know y'all girls. No, you don't. Let Clav come around with the camera and the security detail, nigga. We'll see how much you know your bitch then, nigga. It's going to be real quiet. It's going to be a scary day. It's going to be a scary day if that happens. Butterfly's going to hit the stomach, buddy. So that, and look, it's human nature almost in a way. People become starstruck when they see people that they see online all the time and stuff. And so that's normal. But for girls, obviously,
and it's
there's
that
that sexual part.
This generation is the worst. And here's the thing. Like your generation, Ryad, and like I think the Gen Z and like Gen Xers, whatever, when they asked them, hey, what do you guys want to be? The number one job was influencer. So this generation of women is by far the worst and the most starstruck because when they see influencers, they're tapped into the internet, right? This isn't like, it used to be my generation, A-list celebrities only. Justin Bieber, Drake, yeah, we'll go ahead and be 304s for them. Now, your generation of girls, they'll be 304s for some nigga that streams because streamers have the motion now. So it's even worse now because number one, they know what streamers are. Number two, everyone wants to be an influencer. And number three, it's like they're out and about. Like they're you can see them. They're not like A-list celebrities before where they were untouchable. So like, and then these girls have a higher appreciation for these types of celebrities.
And the amount of famous people that exists now is higher because of social media. Like so many people, you would meet somebody like at your local gym, and unassumingly, he would have like 50K followers, 100K on TikTok. And although that's, you can argue like meta clout and clout on TikTok is kind of bullshit. It's fake. In a way it is, because if you lose those things, no one knows you. But regardless, if you have just that and the girl sees that immediately, you know, like she's clocking it and she's going to be all over you. And a lot of guys, it's easy to blow up on social media now. There's people that I know from locally, from where I'm from, you know, they have their own niche pages where they do their own kind of content, and they actually garner like a good amount of views, a good following. And it's for like the most basic content creation ideas. And so now it's like this cesspool of content creators and people who have clout, and it's oversaturated. And so when you're just like, you know, a normal guy who earns a good living, has a wholesome life, whatever it is, and you try to approach one of these girls, you don't know, bro. She's probably talking to the 50K gym influencer from the town over that you don't know, but he happens to actually be pretty famous where he's from. And it's like, now it's just this oversaturated market. And anybody who's my age knows exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. Because I'll be scrolling on TikTok, and it'll be some nigga I knew in like 4th grade. And this nigga's like famous for like sewing. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, and he has like 400,000 followers on TikTok. Like, clout is just given these days. It's like, you get 100K followers, you get 100K followers. And the worst thing, the girls get so much clout just for being pretty. I always see these like girls on TikTok, they'll just post like a video of them singing along to a song, whatever, or like a selfie, like a thirst trap. And they have their Instagram linked in their TikTok. And so like you'll go to their Instagram and they have like 15,000 followers and they do nothing. They're just pretty. And it's like the shit's given out for free now. So in that kind of marketplace, yeah, if you don't have some sort of status where you are, you're cooked. You're like cooked. And look, it's not always the case that a girl's going to jump at a guy who has status, but more often than not, it's increasingly becoming that way. And it's a matter of time until that's the only way it's going to be. So it's just the reality we live in. We live in a digital world. And if you don't got it going digitally, you know, you're not going to get that attention. But I have some chats here. Go ahead.
The girls even say it themselves. They'll say like, "Oh yeah, I met a guy in the wild." Like what? Yeah. That's like how, like when they meet a guy in person. Like that's a weird thing. But go ahead, read your chats. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's overinflated, man. It's overinflated. And even I'll say this is the last thing I'll say. Even like a mid girl, like these 5s and 6s, like it'll be that girl that has like 3,420 followers, and she's getting like 2 or 3 new guys minimum following her each week on her Instagram, because she has one TikTok that in particular went viral, and she's getting new followers from that specific TikTok every day. And so you, her normal ass boyfriend that earns a good living, earnest guy, super wholesome, never did anything wrong, treats her very well, you're competing with like 2 or 3 new guys that are discovering her on social media every single week that are following her because her page is public, because you can't tell her to be private, otherwise you're a misogynist. And now it's a matter of time until one of those guys is better than you. One of those guys is a D1 athlete for the local school. One of those guys has tons of following. One of those guys is a real estate mogul. Like, it's just, social media adds a whole another element to it. And not to defend girls, but they're only human. Imagine you're a girl and you're getting 5, 6 new followers every day, every week. And some of the guys are actually good looking and have stat. You know, imagine that on your end. So it's like,
they become terrible people, bro. They become terrible people.
Yeah, and it's the simpery that does it to them. You know, but it's just niggas shooting their shots, bro. Instagram is the #1 dating app in the world, and it's one of the biggest, if not the biggest reasons, arguably, as to why infidelity is through the roof the way it is. Instagram, social media, Facebook for the older folks. You got the moms cheating on Facebook and shit, nigga. Like, it's just bad, bro. It's cooked all around. So, you know, anyways, moral of the story is, you know, you get some clout, I guess.
If I ever became president, bro, that's why I'd make it where women are banned from Instagram, bro. If they try to open up the app, the phone shocks them.
Bro, you would flood the streets with rejoice, nigga. Everybody would go out and actually have success with women. You know, because nowadays, God forbid, a nigga wants to talk to a girl, you feel like a creep. Like, girls make normal guys feel like creeps for just saying hi. Like, God forbid, you're like a normal, good-looking guy. You're in decent shape. You know, you have a decent job. You go up to a girl, you're like, hey, what's your name? Oh my God, fuck you. What the fuck's wrong with you? Get away from me. It's like, bro, women literally scare men out of like going up to them. Not even because of the rejection. Because like some girls demonize a man's like natural desire to get at them to the point where like men almost feel like creeps for this shit, which is why men just shoot their shots online. And then that makes the online marketplace competitive too. And you're competing with 100K followers, blue check marks, D1 athletes. You're fucked. It's over for you, you know. So
not only that, like, and then on top of that, then they get on TikTok and complain nobody approaches me.
Yeah, because the last decent looking guy that approached you, you just literally called him like a weird creep, psycho simp, and now he's terrified from ever doing it again. You know, so it's true, and I'm telling you, it's particularly with American women. I've noticed with like girls that are born here, man, it's the ego is noticeably higher than like girls who are from outside of the U.S., of course, and understandably so. That's why the passport niggas are going crazy, because they're actually like, not getting called creeps and demonized for like trying to approach women and shit. So it's brutal. But all the guys my age, they know what it is, bro. They know what it is. Because I'll argue, bro, my generation has it worse than yours. I don't know if it was this bad when you were my age.
No. You do. You absolutely. I've said it before that you guys have it the worst by far.
Yeah.
You guys have it by far. And each generation, it's only getting worse. Like, I at least like my generation, but the chicks from my generation are like in their 30s now. So screw that. I don't even talk to those old hoes. So I'm dealing with girls in your age group. Like, yeah, they're horrible, bro. And it gets worse year by year. As I do the show, the women become worse and worse, ruder and ruder, and more insufferable, more entitled. It gets worse and worse. So I'm seeing it, bro. I know what y'all are up against, bro. It's bad. It's really very bad. You young guys have by far like the worst generation of women right now, and it's only going to get worse.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of that is to thank social media, man, and the increasing amount of famous people that just appear upon our timelines and For You pages every day, man. It makes it tougher. But sorry, I know I got a couple chats, so I'll catch up on these. And DPG, thank you so much. I'm going to read that right now. And only Jared, I know you've been waiting as well. So 13th Wheeler says, giving for the greater good, hard work all day. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. He also says, shout out to my Muslim brother. Loves up, brother. Shout out to you, man. I'm assuming you're Christian, so we love you too. W's in the chat, and Myron's literally been cooking for the last hour, bro. Funny as shit. Yeah, I know. He's been going. You've been on a while, bro, so don't worry. I don't know how long. I don't want to hold you hostage for too long. We'll do
I'm gonna be on. I didn't go on for like 2 days, so I got some energy. I'm gonna be on for a while.
Well, I said you were catching up on sleep. You got smoked on the way to LA.
Yeah,
so
man.
Yeah,
I was
got cooked.
destroyed.
You got cooked, but it was a good time. I was telling them we had a good time in LA.
It was fun.
Only Jared Hayden says, I saw the interview your brother did with Jesse Lee Peterson. I loved Myron's face when Jesse told him all thoughts are evil. Myron looked like he couldn't tell if JLP was serious or trolling. Yeah, Jesse Lee, he's an interesting guy, man. I don't know if there was some esoteric meaning to him saying that, but no, it was good.
That was funny.
Yeah, it was. DPG says, Myron, glad to see you made it back safely from California. Love that. Ryad, keep pushing, bro. The political takes have made this one of the better places online to hear sound logic about what's really going on in the world. Thank you so much, DPG. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, man. Shout out to you for the 50. Always showing support. WDPG in the chat. Ryad, dick him down. I'm done reading that name. My wife is in Yemen. No internet for her. I'm safe. Okay. W, based. Yeah, keep her there, nigga. Thoughtic says, it was great to meet you in person, W Ryad. Yeah, it was awesome meeting you, bro. It was awesome meeting you and Safe and everybody else in the OSS and all the other guys that are part of the community. So it was great to see a lot of you guys and see your faces, talk with you. I was kicking it with a lot of you guys watching the debates, but at the same time, I was like also really concerned, obviously, for your safety, and I couldn't help it. So like I'm just walking around, scanning the crowd. I was like LARPing as a security member. I was talking to the security guy. Nigga was pulling me aside. He was like, this, that, but no, it was great meeting you guys. Thought it was great meeting you and everybody else. So shout out to you guys. It was a really fun time. Beautiful day. When the debate took place, a little windy, but it was pretty warm out. Actually, I'm giving you an in for a joke here, but it's fine because it's true. I got darker from being in the sun that entire time. Like noticeably got darker, and I was punching the air when I came back. Like I looked in the mirror. And I got a haircut today. Do you see that? Look. See the tan line?
Oh, yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Bro, I saw that shit, bro. I was punching the air. I was so tight, bro. I can't afford to get any darker, bro. I'm about to be hibernating for the next 5 weeks, bro. I'm not touching the sun for shit. That LA sun cooked me, bro. It cooked me. And it wasn't even that hot that day, but it is what it is. But did you get to react to Trump's interview with Laura Trump?
No, let's do it. I haven't done anything political yet.
Okay,
when you said you were going to get on, I said I was going to wait to do the politics with you.
All right, bet. Yeah, so we'll get into this. Currently, though, the situation is the same that it's always been. So I'll go ahead and share this with you guys as I go over it. This is out of Axios, but don't worry. BBC is saying the same thing. Obviously, we know Barack Ravid and where he stands, but this is pretty much the mainstream story as of late. So this reads, Trump requests edits to Iran deal his envoys negotiated. So I'll just read through this very quickly to give you guys a briefing on what's been going on in the Middle East so you have a better idea. But it's largely been the same thing repeated and washed over with a little bit of a different spin. So this here reads, President Trump asked for several amendments to his deal his envoys reached with their Iranian counterparts during a Situation Room meeting on Friday, according to a senior admin official and a second source briefed on the issue. Trump wants the deal and expects to finalize it soon. We've heard that before, about 100 times. But it is keen to strengthen several points that are important to him, particularly around Iran's nuclear material. Two U.S. officials said Trump requests has launched another round of back and forth between the parties that could last several days. Some of them are saying several weeks in certain sources. And Trump announced on Friday that he'd be convening the Situation Room meeting on the deal and seemed to suggest that he was leaning towards accepting. A White House official told reporters after the meeting that Trump will only make a deal that is good for America, satisfies his red lines, and make sure Iran can never possess a nuclear weapon. Iranian officials told state media they had also not approved the final text, though the two U.S. officials claimed earlier in the week that Tehran was prepared to sign it, and it was all down to Trump. And this has been the story from the get-go. I wish I can give you guys like a different spin, but this is pretty much what it's been the entire time. The White House says Iran is about to sign. They're on the cusp of signing. They've actually agreed to a lot of our maximalist demands. And then Iran, out of Iranian media, and the president, Masoud Pezeshkian, said today in a clip that I'll pull up, like, we're not going to make any sort of deal that puts the Iranian people or our sovereignty in jeopardy, and giving up all of their nuclear program, not the ability to make a bomb, but all of their enriched uranium, downblending it, relocating it, bringing the centrifuges above ground. That is exactly what would threaten their sovereignty and their right of existence. And so that won't be something that they concede on, despite what Washington says. Behind the scenes, according to the two sources, Trump asked his team to make changes to the draft on clauses regarding Iran's nuclear program in its current form. The Memorandum of Understanding, which we went over last week, includes a commitment from Iran not to pursue a nuclear weapon, but no specific concessions beyond that. And so that's a really general ask, right? Like, hey, don't make a bomb. Iran's like, okay, we won't make a bomb. But I think the real issue, and obviously where they've stalemated, and this has been the case since April, May, now we're about to be in June by tomorrow, is the case for the enriched uranium, the highly enriched uranium, what's going to be done with it, because that's the means to the end of actually making a bomb. And that's what Trump is actually concerned about. And by the way, remember, all of these back and forth talks and all of this that's going on currently, and that's really been going on for the last month or so, is largely just to reach another 60-day concession for the United States and Iran to speak again. So this is like negotiations for greater negotiations for then an actual extended long-term peace deal. But this right here is just for a 60-day concession. And this is what it says. It states that there will be a 60-day window to negotiate on nuclear commitments from Iran and sanctions relief from the United States, with the first issues on the docket being how to dispose of Iran's enriched uranium stockpile and limit further enrichment. Again, that's probably not something that Iran will actually be happy to partake in. But it continues on to go over all the details, but that's really largely like all of it. And then if we go to Truth Social here, obviously, Trump's been going off a lot of the AI slop and everything like that.
Make it big on your side. I'll make it big on my side so they can see it.
Yeah. And this is Newt Gingrich saying, after spending this week reviewing the Iranian war, I am now convinced President Trump is on the edge of an historic victory. All right, bro. And obviously Trump retweeted it. No surprise there. And have we forgotten about this article, Myron? We forgot about the good old article that vindicated us real time. This is posted on May 12th. It says, U.S. intelligence shows Iran retains substantial missile capabilities. So, yeah, I guess it's a historic W. Historic W there. But we'll go to Trump's actual post. This was just about 2 hours ago, so this is pretty fresh. But he says, fake news CNN said today routinely that my Iran nuclear deal doesn't talk about nuclear when it actually states very clearly that Iran will not have a nuclear weapon. It then goes on in very strong and lengthy detail to discuss various other aspects of nuclear. In fact, this is really just always a tough read. In fact, that's what most of the agreement is about. CNN and so many others in the fake news media is a low ratings disaster. Even with new ownership, it is unlikely to ever get better, President Donald J. Trump. And what CNN was likely highlighting is how Donald Trump is making it seem like we have this big deal that we're going to broker and break away with final piece that everybody's been banking on and waiting for. And obviously global oil is contingent upon that. But the real issue is that Trump is omitting the important details. He's saying Iran is saying they won't make a bomb. That's easy for Iran to say. They may not make a bomb right now, but that's because of the ceasefire. That's because the war has stopped. And that doesn't actually speak to the enriched uranium. And we started this war saying we got to get rid of the enriched uranium before they make a bomb. So we actually have to get rid of what they have that's required for making that weapon. And that's where the talks are stalemating. Like I said earlier, that's where they're not able to actually see eye to eye. But of course, Trump banks on the ignorance of every American by saying they said they won't make a bomb. And it's like, hey, they actually were never actually going to make a bomb. They were just enriching quite high to protect themselves, in which didn't work. So that's the situation there. And then we'll get into like the Lebanon situation. Obviously, Lebanon has sieged some more territory in southern Lebanon. The Beaufort Castle, which was previously occupied by the IDF in 2000 before they pulled out, which signified that.
Before we get into Lebanon, do you want to? I got a video here that we could react to.
Please.
The Gray Zone posted this not too long ago. It says top U.S. general tactically admits defeat by Iran. It's kind of interesting. Let me go ahead and share this real quick with you guys because I thought that this was super fucking interesting. Let me see if I can find this shit real quick. Let's see.
Legend CED says, "What are you doing on Ryad's channel, Fresh?" Very funny. Thank you for the super chat, nigga.
Iran
gets a little darker.
Remains on the target board.
It's only 5 minutes.
Though.
Yeah, let's watch it.
And I don't know. Do you think there's a chance that Trump will attack Iran again? We're seeing new troop transport planes being transferred from, I believe, the Ukrainian battlefield towards the region. There are some ominous signs. Trump obviously can't accept any Iranian conditions, and Iran isn't really afraid of the United States attacking again because they, as Robert Kagan has acknowledged, have checkmated the U.S. Do you think this is possible?
Maybe on his way out, he launches some strikes as sort of a parting gift, a consolation prize, a door prize to disappointed neocons like Robert Kagan and, of course, the Israeli government. But in terms of a kinetic war to overthrow the government, I think that part is over because, as Robert Kagan said, he's lost because of Iran's leverage over the Strait of Hormuz and its ability to do damage to the Gulf states complicit in the attack. And Trump can't go too far in attacking Iran because he has such close financial ties to them. And so there's only so much he can do. So I think he's lost. At best, I think in terms of warfare, maybe some parting strikes on his way out. But in terms of a full-blown regime change campaign, I think that's over. But at the same time, do I see Trump reaching a deal with Iran, engaging in serious diplomacy? No way. This guy can't do diplomacy, especially with Iran, which he's got so much contempt for because Iran has been defiant of him. It's humiliated him as it has, U.S. hegemony for many decades now, and sort of being a deterrent.
And that's kind of the difficult position that Trump finds himself in, guys. This is why you guys are getting such a wild discrepancy between like what Iran says versus what Trump says. Trump says, oh, they want to make a deal. They want to make a deal. The Strait of Hormuz is going to be open soon. Don't worry. We have a deal imminent. Right. And it's like, OK. And then you look at Iran and they're like, we didn't even talk to these niggas. And like, look, I'm not telling you guys to trust like Iranian state media, but like, ask yourself, if a deal is imminent, like Trump said, did it happen? No, it didn't. So who's telling the truth? The Iranians have been telling the truth. Right. Yeah. So it's like, it's absolutely ridiculous.
And
right?
that's been like the kind of advice we'd had to take is, in the beginning when Trump would say, it's like the boy who cried wolf. We were like, oh, OK, Trump is saying they may be close to a deal. Everybody hang on. JD Vance is in Islamabad. Hang on, guys. We might have something cooking up here. And then what Iran said ends up being right. And then Iran continuously just becomes vindicated. Time after claim after claim after claim. And it's now just gotten to the point where like me, when I'm preparing for the show and I'm getting ready on what to tell you guys and what to give you the situation on, I'm just really relying on the Iranian media and I'm taking everything Washington says with a grain of salt. And that's unfortunate, but Iran has been right in everything in regards to where the peace deal actually is. If they say they're not close to a deal, then they're not. If Washington says they're close, that's to relieve the oil prices, which my brother has up on the screen right now. And where are we at? 93 a barrel, which is still way too high. And we're in the middle of a ceasefire. We haven't had strikes in about, 2.5 weeks, 2 weeks, and it's still at 93. And some experts and some oil experts are saying that it's going to take maybe even a year or so for oil to get back to like 70 or that normal range where it was before the war even started. And so you guys are going to see inflated gas prices for a while. It might go down a little, but they'll be inflated for some time.
And also keep in mind, there was another, I was watching an interview somewhere. They were saying that the reserves are going to start dropping. Like we're going to start seeing gas spikes in July or so because reserves are going to go down. So that's something else you got to understand. Keep in mind that we've released, strategic reserves to keep the price. stabilized. You know, we've released a lot of reserve, strategic reserve oil to keep the price stabilized, and it's still sitting at 90. For you guys that don't remember or don't know, a barrel of Brent before the war was sitting at about $60, chat. Okay, like I think February 22nd, it was like $63. Now we're sitting at 90. That's crazy.
A curb on Israeli-U.S. power. So, especially, and you've covered this, Max, like him recently appointing, or the Trump administration recently appointing
Nick Stewart.
Nick Stewart of the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies, which is an Israeli front group.
Facts.
Steve Witkoff's so-called negotiating team. There's no way he reaches a deal that builds on the JCPOA, the one that he walked away from. So I think at best we're getting a frozen conflict. He'll have to concede Iran controlling the Strait of Hormuz and charging tolls there, because how else will Iran pay for its reconstruction from all the damage that
by the way,
Trump and Israel caused?
Being branded as
they have to find a way to
environmental
fund
charges.
that, and Trump's not going to pay reparations.
Say that again, Ryad. Go ahead.
So the tolls in the Strait of Hormuz are now being rebranded by what seems to be Washington as environmental charges. And so they're trying to make that look a little less painful. Yeah. Iran is charging all these ships, nigga, okay? They're making tons of money on every ship. It ain't no environmental charge. It's a war tax for the United States' inadequacy of actually decapitating the regime. So now they're going to make sure they leverage that waterway for who knows how long, but the foreseeable future.
And not only that, like they're never not going to charge. Like I'm like, bro, congratulations. The Trump administration created a new revenue source for Iran forever. Congratulations. So stupid, bro. Absolutely so stupid.
He can't wrest control of the Strait of Hormuz from Iran, as he's shown. And the New York Times recently reported that Iran maintains the bulk of its military capacity, despite Trump and Pete Hegseth's claims to the controversy. So what I'm foreseeing is just a frozen conflict, no war, but also no deal.
Yeah, I think long term, that's what we're looking at. You can kind of hear that in the words of Pentagon Joint Chiefs Chairman Dan Kane, who testified for, I think, 14 hours 3 days ago. And this was a very revealing exchange in which Dan Kane, under questioning from Senator Dick Durbin, really couldn't point to any real victory and couldn't deny having been defeated or at
It's crazy, Aaron.
least checkmated by Iran.
Could you explain to the American people why, with the vast investment we've made in national defense and military, how Iran, after they've been attacked by us, is still capable of stopping the traffic in the Straits of Hormuz?
Oh,
well, sure. It's a complex situation out there with a lot of different small boats that are out there and other capabilities. Some of this is on the commercial traffickers. Some of this is on, again, back to the main problem, and that's Iran holding the global economy hostage through the Straits. I would encourage them to think wisely about their next moves and to take the opportunity to open the Straits. They have that choice to make.
you niggas have been threatening them this shit since February, bro.
Yeah.
Sorry, since March. Like
empty threats on empty threats.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's the power
what they did?
plan. It's the power plan. It's the bridges. It's the entire country. We're gonna send them to the Stone Age, and the whole time they're just making money and building more missiles. By the way, that's per John Ratcliffe, the director of the CIA. He said they're at about 75%. Iran said, check that, actually, it's about 120. And so they've replenished all of their munitions, and currently the United States is actually lower than they ever have been on their missile defense system. The Patriot missile interceptors and all the other ones were pretty low. And so we've been having to grab from other countries as we're stretched wide and thin throughout the region. And it's just a war of attrition to a T. And now, it's just become who's going to concede first. And this has been the situation since April. Who is going to show face first? Who is going to look like the weaker person first? And that's whoever actually wants to make a deal and have some of their maximalist demands, pulled back or reduced. And that's probably going to have to be the United States, unless we want to deal with increased oil prices and the fact that Asia and Europe are also going to suffer from this as well, immensely more than we will. And also, look, it's the Gulf nations. We can't do anything with those Gulf nations there. If those Gulf nations were not there, or we had the capability of stopping Iran from attacking the Gulf nations in retribution for our attack on Tehran, we would have probably already destroyed Iran, or a lot of it. But because of the fact that we have to worry about Saudi Arabia and all these other countries, by the way, it's a holy season for the Muslims right now. Lots of Muslims on pilgrimage in the area. We can't launch the war the same way we did. Otherwise, the payment that we would have to suffer from would be far greater. And also think about this. Iran has had all this time to develop what would likely be an intricate plan in response to the United States attacking again with their replenished systems, which is probably going to be a worse result on the Gulf than it was on February 28th moving into March.
I'm going to try to find the that thing from his page. What the fuck? Bruh.
Yeah, what is that?
These
Gaza
dudes
or
are always
Lebanon?
bullshit. Probably Lebanon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's no ceasefire at all happening in Lebanon. That's not going to happen. Like, Trump and them are completely, like, delusional if they think the Israelis are going to stop. Like, yeah, look, this is them bombing southern Lebanon, a water plant like a couple days ago.
Well, here, while you're looking for that, take a look at this. This is what Ben Gvir said today.
Oh, May 14th? Okay, this was...
See if
I
I
got to
pull
go
this up
way
as well.
fucking back. Oh, yeah, see if you can go back. I'm going to go way back to find this shit.
So, Dahia, which is a suburb, or a suburb that is south of Beirut, with a bunch of Shia Muslims. Allegedly, it's this Hezbollah stronghold. Likely it is. But this is what Ben Gvir said today in regards to their plan with that region and what he was telling Bibi Netanyahu. Now, it's in Hebrew, but I'll go ahead and translate it for you. And this is him likely speaking to Israeli media. So he says, there are 600 Hezbollah fighters who, God willing, were eliminated in recent weeks, but that is not enough. The Dahia needs to be flattened. We need to go after the Dahia, flatten it, and flatten it again. Dear Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu, I love you, I appreciate you, but it is time to flatten the Dahia, which is, again, that suburb that is south of Beirut with a ton of Shia Muslims. And this is him. And I'm assuming in Hebrew that means flatten Dahia. So, you know, pretty easy to translate that.
There's a reason why this nigga never does English. Does he even speak English, bro? That nigga never does English
I've never
interviews,
heard him speak English. And it's because of how crude he is. It's because of how brassy. He's so bold in the things that he says. And he always highlights the actual goal of Israel. And honestly, Netanyahu's not even hiding it anymore. He's been saying that I want to send the military into southern Lebanon, and that's it. We need to worry about southern Lebanon. And what better time than right now during the ceasefire? And by the way, this is an element we haven't even mentioned yet, not to derail. We don't have peace in southern Lebanon. And that was one of the biggest stipulations for Iran to accept a ceasefire proposal. And so Netanyahu is shitting on southern Lebanon right now. They just sieged the Beaufort Castle, something that they haven't had in years, since 2000. And that's very significant and symbolic in the fact that the IDF is now trying to annex southern Lebanon again, because they haven't been there for 26 years. And that's a really good vantage point above the Litani River. And so, like, if the IDF is in control of that, which is, like, I think this former Crusader stronghold, so there's some symbolic significance there as well. But if the IDF is in control of that, there's no question they're going to continue to move north. And they're going to do it aggressively. And the kill count is pretty high. I think one of your chatters had told you earlier there's about 3,300 casualties on the IDF side, 3,000 for Hezbollah.
As of about 2 days ago, yeah. We're looking at about 3,300 dead for the IDF and like about 3,000 dead for Hezbollah. And also, just so you guys know, anytime someone says, "Oh yeah, like the Iranians are like an evil theocracy," whatever, yo, just play them a clip of Ben Gvir, bro, and tell them, this guy. And just so you guys know, so you guys know like how much power Ben Gvir has. Think of like the Attorney General combined with the Secretary of Homeland Security. That is Ben Gvir's position, okay, and like a little DNI as well, because he's like the Minister of Security, right? Like he oversees like all the law enforcement and like all the fucking border control, okay. So he is basically the Attorney General alongside the Department of Homeland Security, alongside like avenues also like intelligence as well, because he oversees the Shin Bet. So anyway, which is their FBI. So here we go. Here's the clip that they were talking about. Here's Senator Durbin asking Kane questions.
With the vast investment we've made in...
Let me turn this volume, make sure this volume up for you guys.
And guys, if you're on YouTube, please like the video. Appreciate all the support. Thank you for
Yeah, like the video, ninjas.
Helps us out a ton.
Yeah, make sure to like the video on my brother's channel, guys.
Could you explain to the American people why, with the vast investment we've made in national defense and military, how Iran, after they've been attacked by us, is still capable of stopping the traffic in the Straits of Hormuz?
Well, sure, it's a complex situation out there with a lot of different.
Complex situation. Interesting. Interesting. Well.
Yeah, super complex.
Also, guys, I'm looking right now. My brother only has like 361 likes, but there's over 1,000 of you guys watching. So do me a favor and smash the like button. A bunch of you guys probably left my stream to go watch his. Fine, no problem. Just make sure you like the fucking button. Smash that like button. Okay.
Shout out to you guys.
Make
Please
sure
the
to
video.
make sure if you're gonna go over to JTube, no problem. Just make sure you smash the like button on his video.
Small boats that are out there and other capabilities. Some of this is on the commercial traffickers. Some of this is on, again, back to the main problem, and that's Iran holding the global economy hostage through the Straits.
And whose fault was that?
Yeah.
They're holding the
it's
global
ours.
economy hostage. And you know what the crazy part is? They told y'all niggas they were gonna do this.
Yeah.
That's the crazy part. They told you they were gonna do this on February 27th. And what'd you guys do? You hit them anyway.
Yeah, 100%. And
Fucking
this
stupid. Idiot.
And this is the other thing too in the committee action hearing that Pete Hegseth was a part of. I forget which senator specifically was asking him, but he was pressing him on the fact that he had no idea what Iran was planning on doing before starting the war, and they started the war recklessly and lazily. He said, "Did you not foresee that Iran would shut down the Strait? It didn't seem like you guys had any sort of military response ready for that. Like there was nothing preemptive in regards to that." And he really had no answer. He just did a whole word scramble, word salad, but it's the same thing just like this. And that's the real biggest thing that shows the inadequacy
knew.
of
That's
this
the problem.
administration. Yeah, go ahead.
They knew. They knew. They just thought that they'd be able to like topple the government before they can. They knew that the Iranians would shut down the Strait of Hormuz. They knew that was, and it's been in every war game. Like they've been war gaming this for 50 years, bro. They've always known that that's something that they can do. It's just that they thought they'd topple the government so severely that they wouldn't have the ability to do it and actually enforce it. That's what they thought.
Yeah, and that likely comes from Netanyahu misinforming Trump as well as the Mossad or any sort of Israeli intelligence, maybe even Ben Gvir. The regime will be destroyed in minutes, Mr. President. In minutes. I promise you, it's a couple Tomahawk missiles, couple schools, some schoolgirls, and the regime will be decapitated in no time. And Trump was like, you know what? I think that's a great idea, Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu. You're so smart. So, hey, they fooled him.
Yo, that's literally how the conversation went, nigga. That's literally how it went.
Nigga pulled up
Yo,
to
no-
Washington and Mar-a-Lago, I think, like 7 some times. And every single time it was like, you know, Mr. President, I can't leave without talking about the problem of the Iranian terror regime and their proxy network. So that's likely how that conversation went.
I would encourage them
Yo, fantastic Danielle impersonation, bro. W shit, man. Real talk, man. Good stuff. This nigga been practicing in the mirror.
to think wisely about their next moves and to take the
Shut up, nigga. You've been threatening that shit. Oh, they better think wisely about their next moves. Yeah, you want to know what they thought about? The parliament made it a law. They called that shit the Strait Authority, nigga. Like, yo, like, what the fuck? Like, they better think so. Bro, they legalized it. They made it through their parliament, our equivalent of Congress. They pushed that shit through. It's a law now. Niggas are taxing every boat that comes through that they don't fuck with, bro. Like, they've already thought about it. Trust me. They have. They made their decision. What do they call it? Like the Strait Authority or some shit like that? Niggas made a whole government name for
They
it.
made like a really complex government name. Like it's a whole thing, bro. They passed it into law. It's official. There's no stopping that.
Like, come on, man.
But Myron, China's not getting any oil, Myron. But China's not getting any oil. China's not getting any oil, so we're winning the war. We're winning the war because China's an enemy. And now they can't fund Hezbollah. Now Israel can survive against Hezbollah. Like that's what the response is. That's what the response is. But hey, you can't win against these people. I was actually gonna pull up this clip of Ben Gvir. Did you see? I know we've always talked about him being a part of the new Palestinian death penalty law, where Palestinians who are imprisoned get hanged without any due process. And he had the whole noose pin. And so this guy's an extremist. He's crazy. And it's crazy that he represents the Israeli government. It's written all over. But did you see the video of his wife gifting him a cake with a noose on it? I know I've showed that to my stream, but I don't know if I've showed you that.
I did see that. We can let me finish this, then we'll play that.
Sure.
Thing.
Yeah.
open the straits. They have that choice to make.
They certainly do. I guess the question in my mind is, as we talk about trillion-dollar-plus budgets for our military, it appears that a very small budget is holding us hostage in the Straits of Hormuz. Yield, Mr. Chairman.
Yep.
Same line they've been running with.
Can't get it open. Go ahead. You said you want to share something, right?
Yeah, I can go ahead and pull this up here. So Ben Gvir receives gallows-themed cake on his 50th birthday. This is from his wife.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy.
I think her name is Ayala Ben Gvir.
Just show them this shit, bro. Anytime they say like, oh, yo, these Ayatollahs are crazy. These Ayatollahs are crazy. They got to be stopped. Yo, these niggas are crazy in Israel, bro.
Bro.
Look at this shit.
She's giving him a cake with a noose imprinted on it. Edible frosting, nigga. And this is honorary. This is edible frosting on that cake. This is honorary of the new law that was just enacted about maybe a couple months ago, I think right before the war had started, if I'm not mistaken, and that was to lawfully be able to hang Palestinians who are imprisoned on all of Israel, actually. And so this is huge because of the fact that Palestinians are constantly imprisoned for largely no reason, and they're never actually given any due process. And you can take with that what you will, but it's pretty obvious what that law set up for. And this is him getting a cake, and he's got the pin here. He's got the pin here. And they're just celebrating. Crazy. I want to hear that trash ass music, nigga.
Yeah, that shit trash.
And for you guys who aren't, and just because there's always new viewership, I know we've covered this story, but this is a very quick 2-minute video.
Yeah. No. They need to know why. You need to give them the lore why. Go ahead. This law that they passed. They've been working on forever.
Yeah, they've been trying to get this going forever. And so you can see him celebrating here. But
Parliament on Monday passed a law making the death penalty the default sentence for Palestinians convicted of deadly attacks in military courts.
Real quick, it's very important. Just so you guys know, like these people don't get like real due process. Like they're saying like, oh yeah, Palestinians convicted of deadly attacks. Bruh, these niggas don't get in military courts. Do you guys think they actually get like a jury trial or like any real due process in these Israeli military courts? Get the fuck out of here, bro.
Not at all.
That's just a kangaroo court. Well, we feel like you did it, so you said Allahu Akbar. So hang them. Yeah, wait, but you're not even from here. Sorry. Like, bro,
yeah, and look, they're look at Ben Gvir. He's holding up a bottle. He's super happy about it. They're hyped up. Yeah. And this is just really to highlight like the extremism and how they don't hide like their ultimate goal. And they believe that not only southern Lebanon belongs to them, and that's why he wants to take control of the south of Beirut and everything like that, and get rid of Hezbollah's influence. But it's really just overall like this is their motto. This is their MO. They want to completely rid any sort of Palestinian existence from anywhere inside of Israel, right outside of Israel, in the Gaza Strip. They want it gone. They want all of it gone. And this law helps significantly in that mission.
למחבלים, תשפ"ו 2026.
השר, על מה כל החגיגה?
מוות למחבלים עבר היום, חוק מוות למחבלים, היסטוריה. בעזרת השם בקרוב, אחד להוציא לאור.
Niggas hype, bro.
כל אלה שטפו ורצחו ושרפו.
When people sit there and say like, oh yeah, well, like Hassan Piker pushes out terrorist propaganda. Fine, you niggas can say that. But who are these niggas fighting against? Yo, these niggas are popping champagne to like hang Palestinians like in some kangaroo court where it's like no real due process.
Yeah,
like who's the real terrorist here?
It's crazy.
Who's the real terrorist here, bro?
Yeah.
Like if you guys are gonna sit there and be like, oh, Hamas is Hezbollah are terrorists, cool, no problem. I have no issue with that. But you're not gonna sit there and tell me the IDF aren't terrorists, bro. You're not going to sit there and tell me this nigga's not crazy. This dude is more radical than all the fucking niggas screaming Allah Akbar, bro.
Yeah.
Okay? It's just
and
that
he
this
has
is
political power. He has political power. Like, that's the biggest thing as well. This guy's just not some nobody who tries to assemble on the street with a gun or a knife. Like, he has tons of political power. He can mobilize personnel, authorize personnel, the military. Like, again, like you said, he's like the AG.
He's more powerful than our attorney general. Like, he's literally... Guys, he has the equivalent of, let's like think of like Todd Blanche, aka Whoopan Bonnie's old job, and like dumbass Kristi Noem. Okay?
Combined.
Like, well, actually now there's a Secretary of Homeland Security anymore, but you guys get the point.
Yeah.
Like it's literally Homeland Security and DOJ combined. That's this nigga in Israel. You know how much juice this guy has? Pause.
Yeah.
Like
lots of pull, lots of leverage, lots of power.
Insane power.
And likely lots of money as well, you know? So.
And Netanyahu can't cross this guy. You want to know why? Because there's a coalition of these niggas. Him, Smotrich, etc. Netanyahu needed these guys, okay, to win. Okay? This is the Likud party, chat. This is like the far right Likud party. This, and Benjamin Netanyahu, just so you guys know, is the most moderate of the Likud party. All of them are like this. Like, kill the Arabs, we don't care, let's get rid of them, flatten Israel, burn the village. Like, that's how these guys, flatten Gaza, flatten West Bank, it's our land, get them out of here. This is how they all think, okay? Netanyahu is the most moderate of these motherfuckers, okay? He's the watered down version. Like, a part of me is like, nah, we can't have it. Like, I know a lot of you go like, yo, I hate Netanyahu, I want him out of here. Well, I don't want anybody in this coalition taking power because they're worse.
They're way worse. They are way worse. And they will step to power. They're waiting on it and they're banking on it. So they'll do what needs to be done. And they're going to do it regardless.
As crazy as it sounds, even though he agrees with them, he's a bit more reserved than these motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to look, there's a reason why Netanyahu's not sitting here like celebrating with these niggas. Think about that. Like, he's not celebrating with these niggas. And like, this is crazy. This is too much for even him.
And the thing about Netanyahu is he's concerned about the optics of it, right? Obviously, he's wanted by the ICC. He's received global condemnation for his genocide in Gaza. And so for him, he has to kind of save face a little bit to some degree. But this guy doesn't have any vested interest in looking like the good guy, the bad guy. He just cares about getting his land. You know, like that's all that matters to him and removing any sort of Arab presence within the region. And so he won't shy away from his celebration or how happy he is in these victories that he's getting in passing parliament or anything like that. But, you know, Netanyahu, he's under tons of pressure. He may not even be the leader of Israel very soon. Who knows what happens? If the war ramps down, then they can actually try and, you know, exercise the ability to remove him from power if they can find corruption in that case. But, you know, this guy's got nothing to worry about. He's not wanted by the ICC.
Shit, bro. I don't even think he's going to get I think Trump is pushing really hard for it. I think he's more than likely going to get a fucking pardon, bro, from the president.
Oh, yeah. More than likely. It all depends on if the war ramps down, you know, like, and it's hard to say. I know the guy that you brought on earlier, or the clip that you just showed, the guy was saying, I think that the Iran-U.S. war is over in terms of like kinetic strikes. Maybe there will be a little petty strike here or there, something symbolic. And maybe that's somewhat true. But overall, I do think maybe after the World Cup, after Hajj, after the pilgrimage, after this like busy season of tourism in the summer and stuff, the United States may try and resume it. I don't know. But then again, we're getting closer to midterms. So maybe that's right. It's really hard. It's hard to tell. But what I do know is if we start the war back up, then the Gulf is cooked. And that's the biggest guarantee. Thoughtic, thank you so much for the 100, bro. I appreciate it. Shout out to you. Don DeMarco for you, my friend. W Thoughtic in the chat. Always showing love. Shout out to you, man.
I gotta figure out how fucking
combine.
I gotta figure out how we can play our sound. Yeah, I don't know how do I get it where Ryad can hear my sound effects, I can hear his. We gotta fix that, man.
You know, Josie was telling me how. I gotta get back into it and figure it out. There's a way to do it through Discord. But anyways, that's I mean, you guys get the point here. That was him celebrating over the law, and then they just go over like the detail with the Palestinian prisoners and how it goes. And here's him with the classic pin, not hiding it, no shame whatsoever. And yeah, but you're right. Netanyahu is a lot more politically correct, at least in some regard. You know, he tried to get on the Nelk boys, Burger King, Whopper. But, you know, with this nigga, he's just like, and it's just destroy everything. So no hiding the feelings for him. But thank you so much for Thoughtic. Again, W's in the chat. So Thoughtic, spam that up for him. Always showing love. Always supporting the mission. So I can't do anything except appreciate that deeply, my friend. Thank you. But yeah. That's pretty much that for the situation in Iran. I don't know if you had anything else that you wanted to go into before we can get into President Trump's interview with his daughter-in-law, which is like, bro, what the hell? And then also we can
do that.
We can quickly cover the situation in Lebanon. Go for it.
No. You go ahead. Share. I'm good on my stuff. I shared my stuff with Kane. Kind of, subtly admitting tactical defeat. So I'm good on my end. Let's go ahead and do the interview. Also, a really good documentary, which I'll show you real quick, that I was watching. Yeah, I think it'd be really good if me and you broke this down. It's called Trump's War Cabinet. Let me find it. Right here is from Frontline.
Let me see.
PBS made it. Let me show you real quick. It's an hour and a half, but I think the audience would really enjoy me and you breaking this thing down. Let me show you real fast. Hold on. This right here. Trump's inner circle and use of military power of the war cabinet. Full documentary, Frontline PBS. Pretty good, bro.
Oh yeah, have you watched all of it?
I watched all of it. I watched it on the flight back from LA. It was pretty good. I think we could definitely we'll be able to give even more insight to this documentary, and people would get like it'd be a really good gem for them to watch. I don't know what your schedule is like tonight. I could do that tonight if you want, but it's up to you.
Just because I've got to enter the Matrix Force at 7.
Yeah. So no. What? How much time do we got? So I know.
No, like another 30. We'll do this interview. We can quickly cover Lebanon, and then I'll jump
off.
We'll
do this. We could do this. Maybe. Oh, I gotta leave Tuesday. I got Timcast on Wednesday. Which you know. I gotta leave for Timcast on Tuesday.
So that's Tuesday.
No, I gotta do it on Wednesday, but I'm gonna leave Tuesday.
Okay.
Tuesday night.
Okay.
So you know what we can do? We can do this shit on Thursday.
Perfect.
You
And then the day
Thursday?
that you're gone to travel, which would be Tuesday night, although you're doing Timcast on Wednesday, I'll go live on Tuesday night as well. So your guys over there on that end know to come over to YouTube, check me out. I'll cover the news on Tuesday, and then you guys can get Myron on Timcast on Wednesday, which is live on YouTube.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah,
so you guys make sure
you YouTube niggas.
I might even fucking have somebody do the feed and run it on Kick, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, but yeah, guys, watch my brother on Tuesday night because I'm obviously not gonna be on. If I go live on Tuesday, it's gonna be Tuesday during the day.
Yeah.
But all right, let's go ahead and do this interview.
Yeah, and quick note while I'm pulling this up, I apologize for all you guys watching. I'd like to stay up late, and I'm like my brother. I'm nocturnal. I'm a night owl.
No,
I
you
like
got a
to
real
do
job.
Things late, but I've noticed when I get like 4 or 5 hours of sleep, the biggest thing besides just like feeling a little slower, I feel like I can operate on no sleep, but everybody likes to say that, is I'm so irritable. Like I'm so cranky, like everybody just gets the worst attitude. So that's the biggest thing with me not sleeping. I'm like literally yelling at everybody. So to be nice, I gotta, get the sleep.
Yeah, no. You don't want to lose. You don't want to go there and like Matrix job and niggas get mad and why is Ryad so irritable and shit.
Yeah. Now, I noticed the irritability is very apparent when I don't sleep, but it's all good. All right, and this is a quicker interview. It's 10 minutes, but I anticipate we're gonna have a field day with this. This is gonna be fun. So.
Us back here to the White House.
Thank you.
One of the things that I think everybody wants to talk about with you is Iran. Obviously, I know it's top of mind for you.
Let me pick up that volume a little bit for you guys.
You have actually said you either want a good deal or no deal at all with Iran. So what does a good deal look like for you?
Well, first of all, there's no deal that's good enough because the media will cover it. We're making a great deal. We're going to make it a great deal. Or we'll just go back and finish it off militarily. But this would go faster. It's probably better on a humane standpoint. There's something nice about it also. You save a lot of lives. Whether it's the other side or not, you save a lot of lives. But we're close to a very good deal, and if we can make it good, otherwise we just start up with the Department of War, as we call it. And it's been very successful. You saw Venezuela. It was a one-day win, and this is really a win already. We've defeated their military. Essentially,
the cope is nuts. It is. The cope is crazy. I thought that I'd let this play through. It's pretty painful, but we'll keep going. I'm sorry.
Defeated their military. I would rather get a deal because we can open the Strait immediately upon signing. The one guarantee that I have to have is that there will be no nuclear weapons. They've agreed to that. And it was very interesting.
Hey, that's something that they were always willing to agree to. If you were asking them not to make a nuclear weapon, well, sure, but that was largely contingent upon their security, in which you violated. And so you can't expect the same level of a guarantee that you would have gotten prior to February 28th. And look, he's telling on himself. He's like, well, we're going to sign a deal, and right away the Strait needs to be open. That's all that matters, is the Strait of Hormuz at this point. And that's what we desperately need to be released. Yeah. That's the biggest thing right now.
It's the biggest obstacle for them. It's the only thing he cares about.
Yes.
They originally said, we will not develop a nuclear weapon. I said, well, what happens if you buy a nuclear weapon? So now it says we will not develop or in any way purchase a military weapon. That's a big difference. So we're getting what we want slowly. Very tough negotiators. It takes a long time. I'm in no hurry. I'd like to say I'm in a hurry.
Let me quickly frame this, just quickly, because it comes to my mind now and it's fresh and I don't want to let it sit and I forget. Iran is a relatively powerful country. Middle power, respectable ballistic missiles program, respectable drone program, has done damage to several of these countries that have U.S. defense in the region, and they were enriching uranium at 60%, which is close to weapons grade, which would be about 90%, and where you can actually make a bomb to use against people. On top of that, you also have to consider they are closely allied strategically with Russia and China. And so we've given them a buffer of 2.5, almost 3 months now at this point. The ceasefire has gone on for way too long, and they've built up their ballistic missiles program to something that was probably larger than what it was prior to the conflict, or at least even. Who knows what they're doing behind closed doors? And this is something that everybody has to acknowledge. This is a country that's been given a break. They survived the U.S. bombing campaign. They made it painful for us. They're tolling ships in the Strait of Hormuz. We tried to stop them with Operation Freedom. Didn't work. They're continuing to toll the ships in the Strait of Hormuz, blockade it. Our blockade of their blockade and our blockade of their naval ports clearly don't seem to be that effective, because they're still not running to the table for a deal like Trump said they would per that blockade. So that's not working. And again, they have all of these weapons that are being delivered to them from likely China and Russia. Yeah, I mean, of course we're asking them not to buy a nuke, but this is like a problem that we've opened up by starting this conflict that we would have never had to deal with. We put a battery in the back of a country that is going to be very problematic in the future. And this is what Robert Pape says, but it's increasingly obvious Iran can be one of the most powerful nations on the earth if we don't continue and finish off this war, which we likely at this point won't. And so what are they going to become after this is all done? Iran with a bunch of uranium, even closer allied with China and Russia than before, and they have the Strait of Hormuz. I mean, that's really bad. Not only that, they were able to do their homework and study how the United States attacked them from the air, which is why we didn't attack a second time as well. That was partially the reason, because Iran allegedly had the go-ahead of intelligence and how we would go about our second strike. I mean, just top to bottom, you think about it, we have effectively, and people are going to say, you're IIGC member, you're Iran. People are going to be retarded. That's totally fine. But if you're actually high IQ, then you can understand what I'm saying. We made Iran stronger. We literally made them stronger than they ever were going to be if we didn't attack. And so this plan fell flat on its face. Israel did not get what they wanted, and the United States cannot serve the interests of Israel. Benjamin Netanyahu recently has been echoing the idea publicly that he wants to pull away from U.S. support, because he doesn't want anybody who's going to be in power in the United States to leverage the support by saying, we'll give you aid if we decide and whatever. And so what is Israel going to do to combat this reality that the United States cannot effectuate their goals anymore? Who are they going to ally with? And who's going to take power that is going to say, oh, you know, and I think this is the idea. Israel wants to pull away from the United States in terms of aid, which is what Netanyahu has said. He said that in a 60 Minutes interview about a month ago. I reacted to it on stream. He doesn't want the next leader in this increasingly anti-Israel country to take power and be influenced to leverage our aid against them when we see it fit. He wants to get that aid no matter what. It has to be a guarantee. And increasingly, it's looking like it won't. Where does the Middle East go from here? And where are we in the Middle East after this is all over? This war has effectively forfeited all of our power and leverage in the long term. And so in the grand scale of things, maybe like 10, 15 years, we won't see the same Middle East with the United States all over it and our tentacles implanted to give us power back home like we can now. And that's largely because of this war. This war plays a big role in that. And that's something that comes to my mind as he's saying all this. So I just wanted to say that now, but I'll let the interview play. I don't know if you wanted to add anything.
No, we'll keep letting it play. You said a lot there, and you know, spot on.
Because you know, gasoline prices are going to come tumbling down. But if you're going to be in a hurry, you're not going to make a good deal. And slowly but surely, we're getting, I think, what we want. And if we don't get what we want, we're going to end it a different way.
So that's interesting, because I think everyone has acknowledged that the United States has been in a defensive position against Iran. They've been aggressive to some extent. The United States we've been defensive. Is there a line that they would cross against Iran? They've been aggressive on the offensive again militarily?
Well, a deal that wasn't going to be good for us is the line, ultimately, because, you know, I'm playing it out and we're going to see, and that's what I do. I negotiate. They negotiate. They're very good negotiators. They're crafty. What
happened? I thought there were no negotiators left.
In the end, we have all the cards because we've defeated them militarily. Look, they have no navy. Every ship, they have 159 ships. Every one of them are at the bottom of the sea. Every single one. We take pictures of them. We have people going down taking pictures of hundreds of ships.
Come on, bro. What is he talking about? The AI pictures he's putting online? of these ships at the bottom?
Their Navy is totally gone, 100%. Their Air Force is totally gone, 100%. Their military, we've sort of left it alone because we think that their military is somewhat moderate. They have other people that aren't moderate. We've taken them out. We've taken different forms of leadership out. We've actually left their military alone. People would be surprised to hear that. Because mistakes have been made in wars where you wipe out everybody and then you have a country that's, for 40 years can never rebuild. You look at what happened with Iraq. We did so bad. That was such a foolish thing, what we did. Shouldn't have been there in the first place, by the way.
Bro.
And shouldn't have been in...
Yo, are you serious? Bruh. Are we not repeating that right now?
That's crazy.
What the fuck are we doing in Iran?
He's losing his mind. I swear to God, he's losing his mind.
Well, his argument is going to be like, oh, well, we don't have a ground invasion or whatever. Yo, this is like, you could argue that this is worse.
Yeah.
Because you didn't win.
And that's why I laid all that out earlier, because look, Iraq, we actually destabilized them. At least that argument can be made from the pro-war perspective, from the neoconservative perspective. Hey, we weakened Iraq, but that actually kind of hurt us because we turned it into a hotbed for terrorism, and now there's like this power vacuum, and Iraq is still largely unstable to this day. But like with Iran, they're still good. Like they're still strong, and that makes us arguably just as bad, if not worse. And this is just the short-term repercussions. What's it going to look like in the next 10 years? So
incredible.
Iran, but Iran has the capability. If we didn't hit them with the B-2 bombers 9 months ago, they would have a nuclear weapon right now, and it would be a whole different story. Probably would have used it. You probably wouldn't have had you wouldn't have had Israel, but you probably wouldn't have had a Middle East. And then where do they go from there? And you get to see that when you see that when we went back, they had missiles aimed at Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Kuwait, Bahrain. They all got hit. And we were surprised. I was surprised. Actually, I viewed it as a positive because all those people came immediately to our side. They got hit. Now, they could have taken another view. They could have said, well, we want no part of it. Not that they like it, but they came to our side. And Iran is in a very bad position. They have no military. All they have is good talk, and they have a fake press. The fake news is probably their biggest asset. And I put something out on Truth the other day that I think was very profound. It said that we wipe out their military, we wipe out their Navy, their Air Force, their...
Holy softball interview. Where are the questions? So much for Laura Trump, right? No surprise there. Can we ask a question? Trump is just doing this self-parading like, well, I did. Like, what do we... Come on. Like... This is painful to listen to.
Anti-aircraft, we wipe out everything. We wipe out their leadership, and then we wipe out their leadership a second time. And then at 2.5 times, we're dealing with the other half. And by the way, they're much more reasonable, and you could say that's regime change. But I said, so they would then raise the white flag of surrender. We give up to the great American military, the most powerful military. We give up, we give up, we give up. The New York Times would say, Iran has fought bravely and has defeated the United States of America. I mean, the coverage is so bad. You have a big win in a battle.
No, the coverage is actually kind of honest.
And they say you lost. You knock out their entire...
I get it. All of these liberal left-wing media news outlets are saying Iran is strategically winning. New York Times, CNN, whatever. They've suggested that idea, but a broken clock is right twice a day, and they happen to be right on that. Reluctant but to say that even, but it's just the truth. And so you have Trump trying to accuse the media of being fake and not honestly reporting, but global news is saying the same thing that they're saying. And Fox News has become this insufferable echo chamber of lies. And it's a matter of time until their approval drops as well, because people are going to come and know, maybe not right now, but hindsight is always 20/20, in the next 5 or 10 years, that this war was a huge mistake. That will largely be known among the older audience, even the boomers, maybe the Gen Xers, the millennials. And that was the case for Iraq. How many people say Iraq was a mistake now? And those were the same people that were saying war on terrorism. So it'll be the same thing with Iran.
Navy. And they say their Navy's doing fantastically. No, it was defeated, totally defeated. And they say it's just a terrible thing for our country. And, to really be great, you need a fair media. And we don't have a fair media.
Did you hear that he's going to go after Jean Carroll?
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. Bro's fighting back.
Yo, Fuck that bitch, nigga.
Yeah.
Yo, like that I could tell. I like that. We got to go after these Me Too hoes, okay?
Yeah.
These fucking lying ass grifting chicks, right? Chick used a fucking episode of SVU and like, oh yeah, the facts are kind of similar to SVU. And then she went on CNN and said like, grape doesn't have to be physical. Like what? By definition, it's physical, you idiot.
Yeah.
But it's like, bro, a civil case, bro. Like a civil case.
Yeah.
So
the civil cases always, and you would know this better, but they always pan out in the girl's favor when she's the accuser and shit like that.
Oh yeah, bro.
It's especially against a high profile person.
51%, bro. That's all you need is 51%.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Ridiculous.
That's crazy. And that's a
like,
broken system in this country for sure. And wasn't
this
back in the 90s in like some shopping mall and a dressing room? Like this was forever ago.
So basically, apparently it was like in 95 or some shit like that, in some like dressing room for the store in Manhattan or something like this. So this billionaire like raped her.
Center.
Yeah, like in a fitting room. And it's like, all right, bro, this is like the exact same fact pattern as like an episode of Law and Order SVU. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Like what? Like what?
Yeah, no, he's coming back for. You know, I'm getting worried. Trump is really making moves. Like this nigga's doing $500,000 trades, and then the next day he's saying, "Buy Dell, everybody, buy Dell computers," and then he's bombing Iran, regime change Venezuela, Cuba's next up on the menu, and it's like, okay, there's some W's here, there's some L's here, but it's like, why is he making all these moves? Is like something about to happen? You know, like you start to think this nigga's making moves. He's going back for Eugene Carroll. It's like Trump is making moves, nigga. Is the U.S. about to get nuked? Like I'm getting worried over here, bro. This nigga is mobilizing. He's using like Trump is the literal definition of I have executive power. I'm about to do everything. I'm doing shit. We're building a ballroom. We're gonna build a big ballroom, the best one. Like nigga, what is about to happen? You know, I get it. He's ego tripping. I know Trump is narcissistic and ego driven, but it's like, I don't know. Does he sense his time is coming? He's an older guy. I don't know, man.
I think it's a combination of that, and then also like, you know, like bro gives no fucks. He's like, hey, you know what? Like, I'm not gonna be here long. I don't know if we're gonna get to heaven, so let me just make as much money as possible.
Yeah.
Like it is, and I ain't gonna lie. Carol, that shit is hilarious. The fact that this nigga's like got the DOJ going after him for perjury, that's a W. Hey, bitch, you lied. You lied under oath. Niggas going after you. You want to do the Me Too? Okay, we about to get it back in blood for real via the FBI. Okay.
Yeah. No, that's
hilarious.
W. It's a Trump W.
Nobody believes her, bro. Like, yo, she went on CNN talking about grape isn't physical. Like, yo, this bitch lying, nigga. Like, put her in jail. Who cares? And she's like 82, so she's cooked. You know, it'd be funny. He should put her next to oh my God, Epstein's girl, bro.
Why am I blanking too?
Yeah,
we're too deep into the politics right now. Somebody in the chat will say it.
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah,
Ghislaine Maxwell. Like, you put her right next to Ghislaine Maxwell, then give that bitch a pardon because you already know that nigga's about to give her a pardon.
Yeah.
So make them roommates and then give Ghislaine Maxwell the pardon, make her feel the pain.
That is brutal.
That'd be evil.
He would do that.
Makes the roommate and then gives Ghislaine Maxwell the pardon.
Yeah. No, facts. Oh, really quick. I had these two chats here. I want to catch these before we get back. Best of Film 888 says, Myron, when are you going to debate Abacock and Reach Around? That's crazy nicknames. I don't think ever, bro. I think they're ducking him. Elise OFZ says, Iranian missile barrage towards Kuwait. Is that true? Okay, I'll check that right now as we're watching this interview.
Ain't no way. I'll check Rerun right now.
Yeah.
Well, that's the Democrats. They have nothing to.
What are you guys going to say? Is like, yeah, this nigga, he doesn't give a fuck, bro. He doesn't give a fuck. He's gonna go after all of his political enemies. He's gonna do all of it, bro.
Yeah.
So,
and again, it's also because of midterms, like November. I was just being funny, but it's really because he's about to lose a lot of his legislative power after November, no doubt. So he's making moves now. He knows what it is.
Well, they're Democrats, okay? They have no policy. We have a new name for them, you know, Democrats. I call them, I will always call them until they straighten up, Democrats, because they want women to be put in danger by having men playing women's sports. Think of it. They want the transgender mutilization of your children. They want open borders. We want open borders. They want high taxes. You know, they voted against the tax cuts. They voted against no taxes on tips. They voted against no taxes on social.
Yo, nigga fucked up his tan. Why is the top of his head lighter than the bottom? Bro,
yeah, his
come
tan's
on,
been
man.
looking crazy lately, bro.
Whoever did that spray on fucked up, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man. You can't have you know, top T looking crazy like this on an interview, nigga. Like, what the fuck, man?
That nigga's two-tone right now. He's not
He's
looking
two-tone
good.
for real.
And then he's got the whole hand situation. Always a new mark on his hand. Trump's getting up there, bro. He's getting up there. Also, so that's confirmed. Visual confirmation of a missile launched from Khuzestan province, Iran, towards Kuwait. Very quickly, I can just pop that on. Or we can finish it. It's not a crazy video. We'll finish it. This interview's not long. But yeah, that's true. So missiles launched towards Kuwait. We'll see what happens.
Security. They voted against no taxes on overtime. These have been so important. But the Democrats voted against all of that. But we call them Democrats, and it works out well because I take the word dumb, take the B off, because most people don't know that, you know, dumb ends with a B, but most people don't know. And all I do is I switch the E with a U, and you have a Democrat. And I came up with that by watching Hakeem Jeffries, because he's a dumb person. And I said, he's really dumb. I said, wait a minute, he's a Democrat. So,
like, bro, what is deal? Trump is funny. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, it's funny, bro. Like,
this is pretty enjoyable.
Bro, honestly, yo, I'll tell you this: all this shit that he's doing, they're absolutely gonna try to indict him after this shit.
God.
You believe if a Democrat gets in the White House, okay, they're 1,000% gonna go after him, his sons, his daughters, Kushner,
They're all
Witkoff.
cooked.
They're going Rubio. This entire cabinet, they're going after them, bro. I'm telling you, like, Trump is gonna need to give everybody the Biden treatment. He's gonna have to give them niggas all pardons on his way out. Like I don't even know preemptive pardons. I think that's what Biden did.
Yeah,
he's gonna do that. He's gonna have to do that for everybody in this fucking thing. Because I already know what they're gonna do. They're gonna say, they're gonna say Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, conspired to hide the Epstein files. That's what they're gonna say for them. Pete X said they're gonna go after him for the kinetic strikes on the boats. Marco Rubio, they're gonna say that they're gonna go after him
and posting the video of it.
Yeah, posting the videos of it, all that. They're gonna go after Marco Rubio maybe for war crimes because he supported this conflict, right? With attacking Iran, being involved in the decision. They're gonna go after everybody that, by the way, that was involved in that. They're gonna say there was no threat to the United States. You guys started an illegal war. You didn't get congressional approval. None of that shit. They're gonna go after them, like,
and stepped over the War Powers resolution too.
Like, they're gonna do everything in their power, bro. They're gonna go after his sons. They're gonna go after his sons, and they're gonna go after Kushner and Witkoff, saying that they had illegal tradings, and they're gonna go after Lutnick for insider trading. He's in the worst situation. Lutnick, cooked. His sons, they're gonna say the tariffs were nothing more than a fucking scheme to do trading and make your. And that's it. And that's what I think they're going to do with Lutnick. They're going to go after the entire fucking administration. He's going to have to give everybody preemptive pardons before he leaves. Ain't no way.
And I'll be honest, man. I'll be honest. I am very worried for 28. I'm very worried that a Democrat, I think Democrats have the best chance that they've ever had in a while, at least in the presidential election. So that's something to be concerned about as well. I know it's early. We don't know who's officially running, but you know, the pendulum will swing in eventually the other direction. I think it's about that time. And Trump has just made it way too easy for them.
Oh, I think it works. I don't know that it's going to be as good as Pocahontas or fake news or so many of the others that we've come up with. But
and no, I'm not talking about midterms, guys. I'm talking about 2028, the presidential election.
I mean, I'm going to just call them Democrats, because I don't understand how they can be so stupid.
I'd imagine if you could have timed things perfectly, having a conflict just in front of the midterm elections at a time like this isn't ideal. You acknowledge the high gas prices. You have consistently been willing to do the hard things, the things that your predecessor said should have been done, but they didn't have the guts to do them. You have taken them on. And
who said they should have been done? Every single former U.S. president has come out unanimously against this war and said Trump is retarded. I don't know why he did this. What do you mean should have been done? No one said that. Holy cow.
Bro, hell no.
Iran is a great example of that.
Well, you have a problem, a structural problem, because you have the midterms, you have the elections. Well, that's going to go on for hundreds of years, every 2 years. So you have really a very small window. So if you wanted to play that game, then you would wait till the midterms are over, and then the following hour, you'll attack Iran because they cannot have a nuclear weapon. Most people agree with me on that. But then it gets maybe carried into, the next election, whether it's a midterm or not. So you have a very short window for doing anything having to do with war. But I don't view that window. I view it, I have to do what's right. When I attacked Venezuela, it was really, I was hit hard. Now, I did that because of what they've done to our country in terms of sending prisoners in and drugs in and all the other stuff. We have drugs down 97%, fentanyl and various drugs down 97% on drugs coming in by water. Now we're starting the land, and it's going to be it's actually easier. The land is much easier. The drug boats that are, for the most part, no longer with us. In fact, the 3%, we're trying to figure out who would do that. I mean, they obviously don't watch television or don't watch the news. But that was very unpopular. As soon as I won, it became unbelievably popular. Well, we're winning Iran. It's a total win for us. I mean, we had to do it. Look, two things with it. Number one, the Strait has to be opened immediately and has to be free, no tolls, et cetera, et cetera.
Not happening.
And number two is they can't have a nuclear weapon. That's all there is. It's very simple. And then we're going to get out of there. And we don't need the Strait. We don't need it because we have more. So we produce now.
Yeah, okay. Don't need it, but please open the Strait.
Like what? He just... I'll bring that back.
Out of there. And we don't need the Strait. Tolls. Two things with it. Number one, the Strait has to be opened immediately.
What? What the? Come on, bro. Strait has to be open immediately, but we don't need the Strait. Okay, so you what? Do you care about your allies? Because according to Truth Social, you shit on them all the time.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's going to make the argument to say, we don't need the Strait, but the reality is we still do because it still controls the global oil market. So even if, we might not need it physically, what are you trying to say? We make our own oil. We don't need it. Only 10% of our oil comes from there. It doesn't matter, bro. Americans are paying higher gas prices because of this shit.
Yeah.
Bro doesn't understand we live in a globalized world.
Significantly higher. And that's the thing, too, is he knows people know that. They're feeling the increased prices of everything. And, I was bringing I didn't even tell you, I was late to the airport when I was flying back out of LA, coming back to New York. And, you have to give the rental car back with a full tank of gas. And so I'm flying, I'm trying to get back because I'm late as hell. Thank God I had clear. I would have missed the flight if I didn't have clear. And, I'm let me pull over, pump gas real quick. I'm not looking at the pump. I'm not looking at the prices. Nigga, I audibly gasped when I saw the price of gas in California because remember, in Connecticut, $7. Premium gas is $5.9, $5.8. Bro, the regular was $6.5. I was yo, what the fuck, bro? I was about to skip the flight, nigga. 5 gallons was $60, bro. I was yo, what the fuck? Bro, I pumped no gas. You Californians are genuinely going through it. Prayers.
You guys are cooked.
Prayers out to the Californians, bro. That shit is bad. Yeah, bro. And I wasn't even in some crazy air. I was in the hood almost, and the gas was through the roof. Crazy shit, man. I was pumping that Mazda, kicking the air, bro. I'm I'm pumping this shit up. I'm paying $60 just to give this shit back to the rental company, and it's 3/4 of a tank full. I barely pumped any gas. Bro. Anyways,
and you have to drive in California. You gotta drive. The crazy part is you gotta drive in California, bro. That's the crazy part.
Yeah, because God forbid you need to go get groceries. It's 6 years away. Fucking everything is far apart. So yeah, it's brutal over there. And here we got Mr. Trump. The Strait needs to be open. Yeah, damn straight it does. It needs to be.
But that's all there is. It's very simple. And then we're going to get out of there. And we don't need the Strait. We don't need it because we have more. So we produce now, because of us, we produce more oil than Saudi Arabia and Russia combined ×2. Think of that. We'd double what they do. Add Saudi Arabia and Russia, multiply it ×2. And we're going to be much higher. We're the oil superpower, far greater than even Saudi Arabia, even Russia. But you add them up. These are two big monsters. You add them up, and we double it. We have a great country. We've had tremendous success.
Well, Russia really with the natural gas is where they get right more so.
Yeah, but he's forgetting that Saudi Arabia can't even put their oil out, bruh.
Yeah.
If
I'm not mistaken, since the ceasefire, Kuwait has not exported any oil, at all.
At all? Oh shit! I didn't know at all.
I know. At the 30, there was a 30-day mark where Kuwait had not exported any oil. As of right now, I don't know, but if they have, it's significantly limited. So they're all suffering. The Gulf as a whole. You know.
Yes, we have done things that are unbelievable, and I have tremendous support from Republicans. I mean, I never get support from Democrats. It's a different world than it was. It used to be they'd get together, they'd have lunch, they'd fight a little bit, and they'd have bipartisan. I'm not sure that's possible because everything's so different. I want closed borders. I want people coming in legally. They want open borders. They want every criminal in the world to pour into our country. There are 25 million people, many of whom were criminals. 11,888 were murderers. Most of them committed more than one murder. I don't want them in our country. I'm sorry. And, you know, so there are things like transgender mutilization of your children. They want that. They want men to play in women's sports. They want all these things. So I don't know. People say, can you ever get together? I don't know. I mean, you know, the policies are so different. I want borders. They don't want borders. They want to get rid of, you know, they want to get rid of your Second Amendment. I have to protect the Second Amendment. Then I have protected it. But we've done a lot. We've done really a lot. And more people are working in the United States right now than at any time ever before. We have more people working. We have $18 trillion as you.
Yeah, no college students who are hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt can find jobs. And I know many of them with STEM degrees, computer science degrees, can't get a job at all. You know who can't get a job though? Thank you. Come again. They're flooding the job market. So
those niggas, the H1B, man,
bro. And there's more and more of them every single time.
I say it all the time. Now I haven't included the 12th month, but for 11 months we have 18 trillion with a T, coming into our country. Biden in 4 years had
trillion with a T. No, don't worry. Yeah, we didn't hear you, Trump. You had to say that again. Thank you for the T.
A lot less than 1 trillion. And I will say this, if they won this election, I don't think we'd have a country anymore.
Be sure to like and subscribe.
Love that. Someone said comp size cook by Claude. Yeah, it is. I know. That's not all the way of Trump's fault, but, you know, still, he's not helping the
Israeli troops.
We'll get into the next thing here. Myron stepped away. Maybe he's grabbing a Chipotle burrito. But if you guys missed this, which you probably did because it's not getting nearly as much mainstream coverage as it should, Israel captures Crusader Castle that symbolized its long Lebanon occupation. So we'll watch this video here. I'll go ahead and pop this up on screen for you guys.
Lebanon time.
Yeah. Let's see. Are you able to see that? I don't know why it's gray on my end. Hold on.
No, I just got to click it. Go ahead. You click it again. I don't know why it does that. It says watch stream. That's weird that it does that, but.
Yeah. All right.
Have captured Beaufort Castle in Lebanon, built in Crusader times and a symbol of Israel's advancement deeper into Lebanese territory, having been used as a base by the Israeli army during its 2-decade occupation of Lebanon. Well, Israel now has called on Lebanese civilians to evacuate yet more towns and villages in the south of the country as it pushes forward, saying it is fighting Hezbollah. Lebanon's prime minister, though, has accused the army of pursuing a policy of scorched earth. Well, let's bring in Noga Tarnopolsky, our Jerusalem correspondent, then, for some more on all of this. First of all, Noga, Benjamin Netanyahu today saying that the capture of Beaufort Castle is a dramatic shift in the Lebanon offensive. Explain to us, then, why this castle is such a big deal for Lebanon, but also for the Israeli army.
And also for Prime Minister Netanyahu personally, Nadia. This is a very strange day in Israel. The prime minister and his defense minister are boasting about the capture of this ancient 12th century fortress, which holds a really major and traumatic position in the Israeli public sphere. The withdrawal of Israeli soldiers 26 years ago from Beaufort was such a national trauma that it became a major film that won prizes in Europe. And so today, with this recapture of Beaufort, of the Beaufort Castle, what we're seeing on the one hand is the Prime Minister announcing what he called, and I'm quoting now, a dramatic change in policy. He's trying to save his own reputation. Israelis living in the north have been subject to non-stop bombardment now for several days. Schools are officially now closed. Life is impossible to live. And the prime minister is under a kind of public assault to prove that he can protect the nation's north. So he ordered this massively expanded offensive in Lebanon as an attempt to save his own name as Mr. Security. And he's calling this return to a quarter of a century ago, a new policy, but it's being received in Israel with a lot of questioning and wonderment. I can quote in particular retired General Nimrod Shefer, who is now in the opposition, saying that calling this a victory is like calling any defeat a victory.
And Noga, look, help us understand this expanded operation in Lebanon, what it means now for the broader situation in the Middle East, particularly those efforts by the United States to try and secure a durable ceasefire with Iran.
It's very complicated, and in fact, it may mean that Israel's concerned of an imminent announcement about a U.S.-Iran deal that would force Israel to cease.
Pause real quick. Yeah, and the other thing too, you guys got to understand is like they're pissed off as fuck about this, and they're still fighting, guys. Despite the fact that they claim that there's a ceasefire, like they are still fighting, and I don't predict that there's any way that this fighting is going to stop because Israel wants to take the Litani River for their buffer zone, which they're going to lose it, by the way. They can never hold the Litani River. Hezbollah's going to do what they always do. Let them advance, think that they have some type of security, and then they're going to attack them again and fucking kill them. They always do this shit.
Because
you guys know a couple months ago, they took over that area where Hassan Nasrallah gave the famous spiderweb speech. They took that area over, and they're like, yeah, we got it. And them niggas fucked them up and took it back over again. Go ahead, Red.
Yep. No, absolutely. And now I'm reading out of Reuters as well. They're saying that Israel is telling all the residents in southern Lebanon, or at least in the area of the Zahrani River, to retreat or leave their homes. And so they're forcing this displacement as well. And there's a few different sources that are saying that. And so the goal is obvious, right? There's no secret. We've been saying this ever since the beginning of this conflict, but even during the Gaza situation, this is what they want. And there's no better time than right now. And this also increases the likelihood of the United States and Iran having their peace talks fall through it or actually fall on its face. It's not going to work because Iran's going to always be able to say, or they're always going to actually say, well, look at Lebanon. And it's going to be on Donald Trump to really control Netanyahu. It's going to be on Donald Trump to control Ben Gvir and tell them no more offensive in Lebanon, no more war in Gaza, because they're still hitting Gaza. They bombed the beach actually this morning and injured 10 people, killed 1. And it was a beach, you know, like people are out there swimming, enjoying the weather. So, I mean, it's quite obvious they're trying to stir up chaos in the Middle East as much as they can so they can jeopardize any possibility of peace. And they're doing a good job of it because we still have not been able to reach a deal. And then you got this going on the same time, or at the same time, simultaneously, Donald Trump is saying, well, no nukes and they got to open up the Strait. It's like, it's not going to work. And people think that we're like these Iranian sympathizers. We're just giving you guys the truth. This is all an antidote. This is a recipe for continued disaster. It has to start with controlling Israel and then being somewhat reasonable in regards to what we're asking Iran of. That's what it's going to have to be. Otherwise, we're going to stay in this conflict forever.
And yeah, and I look, Joe Kent, you know, spot on about this. Until you restrain the Israelis, you're never going to have any type of real ceasefire. And you know, it's almost like the Iranians know that the Israelis are not going to stop attacking Hezbollah. So it's like, yeah, let's just let the conflict keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly.
Let us rearm.
And for them,
you know,
the greater victory symbolically is showing the world that the United States cannot control Israel. That's always been the case, but that was a little bit more discreet. Now it's public, right? Like now it's mainstream. Yeah, they're proving it real time. You had all your examples with, you know, Nixon in '69 putting the nuclear program under the carpet and everything else. We know that, but for the mass public, for the general public, this is the biggest red pill, and that's their goal as well.
Operations in Lebanon and possibly withdraw. And so Netanyahu is using these last few days ahead of such a deal to show Israelis that he is trying to push forth. Other than that, we're just waiting for an American announcement to see how this can continue.
And there won't be any announcement from Washington. They don't say anything about this. Every single time there's a bomb or there's something happening in southern Lebanon or in Gaza, Washington doesn't say anything about it. And that's likely what Iran is waiting for as well. You know, for some comment from Washington, from something. Remember on April 7th when the ceasefire entered its first day, Israel hit southern Lebanon with 100+ strikes. They killed a ton of people, displaced a ton of people, killed kids, and Washington was mute. Didn't say anything. Yep. All they said was, well, we're going to work out a peace deal. They did not reprimand. They did not condemn. They didn't say, why did you do that? And, you know, this is why I've always said MAGA is Israel. Israel is MAGA. You know, the two are synonymous. Yep. They're best buddies. They worked real hard together to get Thomas Massie out of Congress, and they're going to continue to do that with all their wars in the Middle East and everything else. And it is what it is. But I have to admit, and everybody knows this, you know, it sucks to say, Trump is he's an amplifier of Israeli power and Israeli influence. He is the amplifier. He is their Trojan horse. He's bringing them to the promised land. He's bringing them to the finish line. Starting this war in Iran is everything that they dreamt of. And although it has not gone the way I would imagine they wanted it to go, idealistically, it's put them in the position to bomb these countries in the Middle East and always use Iran as an excuse. Hezbollah, Iranian proxy, state terrorism. So now they always have plausible deniability moving forward that they're at war with Iran. The United States started that for them, so they can always leverage that in the future as well. And it's like every single way you slice it, no matter how you look at it from whatever angle, Donald Trump has amplified Israeli power tenfold. He's been the biggest cuck to the Israeli lobby, and that's just the unfortunate truth. Every president, unfortunate truth, every president has been subject to what they want to be done, but they've never gone this far. You know, the war in Iran was always beyond the pale. That was somewhere that Obama stopped Netanyahu at. Bush had stopped Netanyahu at, Biden, but of course Trump was the one to do it. So it is what it is. But yeah, that's kind of the situation in Lebanon. We'll take a look at the strike here in Kuwait, or these missiles that are allegedly on their way to Kuwait. This is from Rerum. Shout out to our super chatter for letting us know in the chat. That was from Elise OFZ. And I'll go ahead and get this on screen for you guys right now, as Myron is probably getting some food, probably his first meal all day. So take a look at this.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Visual confirmation of a missile launched from Khuzestan province, Iran, towards Kuwait. So I don't know what's wrong with this video, but yeah, that's what they're getting in the Telegram groups down below. And then this was the alleged emergency alert that was dispatched in Kuwait, warning imminent danger, security threat. Everyone is required to remain in safe locations, stay away from windows and exposed areas to ensure public safety. Civil Defense Ministry of Interior. Now, the reason for this strike, I don't know. Currently, I don't know why Iran would launch the strike if this happens to be true, but oh, well, okay. That's in response to this, likely. U.S. Central Command conducted self-defense strikes on Iranian radar and command and control sites for drones in Goruk, Iran, and Keshem Island this weekend. So they did what they did a couple weeks ago again. The measured and deliberate strikes occurred on Saturday and Sunday in response to aggressive Iranian actions that included the shoot-down of a U.S. MQ-1 drone that was operating over international waters. U.S. fighter aircraft swiftly responded by eliminating Iranian air defense, a ground control station, and 2 one-way attack drones that posed clear threats to ships transiting regional waters. No American service members were harmed. CENTCOM will continue to protect U.S. assets and interests in response to unwarranted Iranian aggression during the ongoing ceasefire. And who pays for it? Well, that's going to be Kuwait, as we see from this video that just came out about a half hour ago. So that's what you have, folks. That's what you have. But yeah, that's really it for what's currently going on. United States and Iran are going tit for tat with these small strikes back and forth, and then we're getting in periods of peace. We're getting in periods of darkness. Things are confusing. Do it again. Pull back. And that will continue to be the case until there's a long-winded deal that's agreed upon. And that's not likely if Trump is asking for Iran to not toll ships and open up the Strait. They're not going to do that. So we'll see what happens. But I'd say if you want to pay attention to anything, the situation in Lebanon seems to be very interesting, and the one that's most actually, like, at least to give you the wherewithal to understand what's about to happen, because as long as the IDF continues in southern Lebanon, then you can pretty much take everything Trump is saying and throw it in the trash. But yeah, man, that's pretty much it. What do you got there? You're muted. You're muted.
Sorry, I got some people bulgogi. I got some Korean food.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Is it good?
Yeah. It was like a new restaurant that opened up. I was like, damn, let me try. Let me fucking check this out.
Yeah. See, man, in Miami, you guys got options, bro. You guys, and it's shit doesn't close at 11 p.m. like LS,
yeah,
Connecticut.
Connecticut.
Albo Ace says, just in IRGC says they launched missiles at U.S. base in Kuwait. Yep, 100%. We saw that just now.
Not surprised. Is that probably for Bandar Abbas?
Yeah.
For the
strike.
Bandar Abbas?
Yeah. For Keshem Island and Bandar Abbas, which was this weekend. And that was in response to that. And that's what I said. This is going to be the situation until we reach a deal. You know, the United States is going to say, oh, we carried out defensive strikes. Iran is going to say, perfect. We're going to hit your base in the Middle East. We're going to piss off your Gulf allies even more. And it's going to keep going this way until something is brokered. But, you know, with the way Trump is talking on Fox News, doesn't look like that's going to happen either. And then Netanyahu agitating the whole issue with southern Lebanon, Ben Gvir speaking Hebrew. You know, everything is a shit show.
Fucking clown world, man.
Yeah, it is. But all right.
So
I'll probably close out, and then I'll send all of my guys over to you unless you're done. Or what do you got planned?
No, I'm gonna keep cooking. I'll probably stay on for like another hour, then we'll do OSS only. We got a real night train going on here.
Yeah, you do. You got a got a 24-hour train going on.
so yeah. But yeah, anyway. But no, you're gonna get off right now?
Yeah, I'm gonna hop off now. Get ready to sleep and everything. Thoughtic says Korean food, Indian food on my tab for Myron.
Nah, man, fuck out of here, bro.
Indian food. Thanks for the super chat. Yo, hey, it's not.
Yeah,
have you had it?
Indian food?
Yeah.
No, I have. It's just trash. I don't like it.
No. Okay. Knowing you definitely wouldn't like it. But yo, butter chicken is straight, nigga. I can't lie, with the naan, shit's decent. The shit,
nah, man,
it destroys your stomach.
Then again, I don't even like fried chicken, so you know what I mean?
Yeah. You really don't like greasy, unhealthy, saucy food.
Yeah.
You don't like that kind of stuff. No, that's why I said you wouldn't like it. You don't like fried chicken?
I'm eating bro.
No,
man. Like I'm eating white rice with beef. Like that's like simple shit.
I've never seen you eat fried foods, bro.
No, Frank, you can't eat that.
Guys, the farthest I've ever seen Myron go is like French fries and maybe a burger.
Yeah. I'll do French fries and a burger every now and then. I'll have that McDonald's every now and then.
Or you'll have pizza.
Or pizza, yeah. But that's about it.
Yeah. No,
So,
I don't blame you. Well, hopefully that bowl is good. But all right, yeah. Let me close out. We'll talk.
Come on over to Kick Ninjas. Are you motherfuckers watching my bro on there? You niggas come on over because I'm not going to YouTube. So come on over to kick.com/MyronGainsX.
Someone just put in my chat, Ryad is a G. All right, niggas. God forbid a nigga likes some butter chicken and naan. All right, so I just popped my brother's link in the chat. I pinned it. So go check that out. I think we're all caught up on chats.
Make sure to like the video before you leave his shit, man.
Yeah, like the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. All the support helps out a ton. And yeah, my brother will be live for another hour. And then Tuesday I'll be live. I'll be the substitute teacher. And then Wednesday he'll be on Timcast. And then we'll touch base on Thursday. We'll go over the documentary. Whatever is in the news, maybe something will happen. So we'll see.
You should react to it.
The documentary. Timcast or the documentary?
You react to Timcast while I'm on.
All right, let's do it. Yeah, that'll be fun, actually. I have a lot of fun with that. Yeah. What do you know what the topics will be? Or he just calls it on the day?
No, he just calls it on the day in the news.
Okay. All right, that'll be good, actually. That'll be a good clip. So, all right, we'll go live Tuesday, and then we'll react to whatever's going on Wednesday.
All right, cool.
All right, man.
I'll talk to you, bro.
Peace.
Later, brother. Peace.
All right, people. Party people. I'm going to bed. I apologize for the shorter, actually it's a pretty long stream. Love all of you guys. Head over to Myron stream if you have not already. Have a great night. And someone said W. Ramadi Ryad. All right. I'm not crazy about Indian food. I'm just saying it's objectively decent. Like, it's not bad. You got to be, like, hungry. It's really heavy food. And it also screws your stomach up. Like, wouldn't be my first option. But if it's on the table, I'll eat it. Anyways, love all Mumbai Ryad. All right, this is getting good. Love you guys. I will be back on Tuesday, so no show tomorrow. I'll be back on Tuesday, most likely Wednesday, and then Thursday. Me and my brother will be back as well, as long as he is back in Miami. Doesn't have extra plans after his meeting with Timcast. So until then, guys, peace out, W Stream. Good to be back with all of you. I missed this, and so it'll be a dense week of content, hopefully, and we'll see what happens in the Middle East. You know, things are heating up, especially with Lebanon, so I'll keep you guys updated on that. Love all of you guys. Have a great night.